been drinking Kool-Aid cameras like I did when I was 9. Cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple cause it feels like a lie. We play Halo and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise. We would go to school but not learn too much, cause it's hard to read when you've got tired eyes. Still got my friends, they've been with me for some time, and it's nice to know that they still by my side. Friends are like stars, cause no matter how far, when it's dark outside, they will be your light. We played Halo and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise. We would go to school but now learn too much, cause it's hard to read when you've got tired eyes. Months go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. Years go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime.
Jo, vsi pozdravljeni, kako smo, kaj folk, jo. Živo. Model, chat, pogledal sem zdajle in vidim, da K1nzell tako 100 pik. What? Pojma nimam zakaj, ampak ja. Meni spet kamera lega, kva je to? Zdaj mi skozi to zajebava. To me nekaj kom zajebava. Drugač pozdravljeni, da vas hitro pozdravljam še enkrat danes, ali že tretjič danes. Živo Ajacar, živo Duke, živo Juri. Živo Svizi, živijo Alan, živo Miha, živo Blaze Thomas, živo Savinča, živo Bugi, živo Domzi, živo Zupi. Ej, Zupija polva la, nedelja, dopoldne. V redu je na streamu, ok, na streamu je v redu, ok, to je važno. Samo vsem, prej mi je... No, bomo videli. Živo Martin, Gerkšit, živo Jokes, živo Tjani, živo Toxic Žana, živo Kaj Legan, živo Gapi, živo Miheksinjo, živo Blaze Thomas, živo Max Pučko, živo Urhi, živo Martin, živo Timo, glavno pozdravljeni vsi. Folk, a sem jaz prav videl, da v bistvu tale, kva zdaj jaz govorim, sploh vem nekva govorim, da Dreamhack sploh ne streama, a jaz to prav vidim, chat. Jaz to prav vidim, da Dreamhack ne streama. Da sam da odpremo OBS tukaj, da bote lahko. Takole, desktop, okej. Ja, streamam, jaz prav, Dreamhacka prav ne vidim, chat. Tlej Benji, sam zdaj itak spectata ta. Ko sta očitno umrla. Luša igra, a prav, ne vem, če igra, a igra prav Luša, Slovenc? Ali vi mislite unga druzga? Čajte, da jaz pogledam, ja, napiš Dreamhack. Če sem prej gledal, lej, Dreamhack. Brino, gledal sem pa... zdaj pa, what najdem. Prej nisem najdel, what? Vsaj na telefonu, no. Ok, nice, god, bomo kar gledali. Ok. Bomo pa te igri pogledali, kakšna je lestvica, ok? Bomo pa te igri pogledali, ker ne vem, kako je zdaj. Ajde, vidimo. Živo vsi, živo, pozdravljeni. Evo ga, K1nzell. Pač pravim, chat, K1nzell je Dreamhack god. Ne vem, kako mu ne rata v FNCS-u zmagati, ker Dreamhack... Majster bo imel največ Dreamhack winov, ali? Ej, lahko tudi med tednom zupi, kamot lahko med tednom? Ti sam povej, ker dan. Tole je tretja igra, Magical. Tretja igra. K1nzell pa Wakey sta zmagala 2 igri zapored. Ok. Jaz sem super čas, zdaj sem malo basket igral. Ja, Magical, cel ga bom gledal, zakaj? Čak, vi ne slište gejma, what? Ja, oh shit, sorry chat. Povejte, če slište dvojno ali ne, povejte, če slište dvojno.
So many of these top players going down, Shire, like you said. 4 of the top 10 teams already being taken out, right? The potential for in the standings moving
normalen zvok.
is so real right now. And I talked about it being an opportunity for newer beginnings for a lot of these teams.
Ja, taj sem je bil kontestan v Orchadu. Eni je lihka napisal, da je 2krat že umrl. Off-spawn. Ja se tle moram jezdati pol member only chat po tej igri, ja? Jaz da tle member only chat, da folk ne bo... Da folk ne bo govoril, kaj se dogaja. Tak te. Ne zakaj mi ta OBS kar šteka. K1nzell, da member only chat med dinam. Po igri sklopa member only chat, ok, to kdo te vedel. Ne chat, mora biti. Mora biti member only chat. Zato da folk, da kdo ne pove, kaj se zgodil. Bomo pa pogledali za Tysona. Po tej igri, ok? Sam je sedel malo basket igra, chat, sicer sam 1-1, ampak le, žet je niks. Da vidimo, čak, jaz moram da tole creator kod malo višji. Tole, evo.
Try to create any sort of a distance, a gap you can go
Tole
into the next 3 games. Talking about the next 3 games already, I need to focus on just this one because it is going to be tight for these teams. Just at the very top, not the top 10 teams gone, but the top 3 teams all still in it.
Dreamy Fana je spet na zajmat bisti, dajte hvala ljubi za Dreamy, ja, čat, lepo prosim, Dreamy, pozdravljen. Če drugačen shoutout za Sova RR, danes je ping-pong turniru. Da si nekaj z mano igriš, rekel, če lahko en shoutout, ne vem, a gleda ali ne. Zdaj rekel, da bi rekel, živ telegaming. Ne vem, Roix, ne vem odkdaj. Kaj je Marinka?
You've already seen a lot of river-based zones, and so maybe it's time for a switch up. K1nzell, who we were giving our plaudits to earlier, both struggling, both being held in, an awkward rotation for them. Looks like they were able to survive just barely, but not in a good position whatsoever. And you can see K1nzell and Wakey, when players aren't in good positions, they will take advantage. An elimination there for K1nzell, the first on the game.
An elimination there for K1nzell.
So now priming themselves to try and get that three-peat.
Marinko, koliko imam jaz centi od tal, da mislim, da okoli 70, nisem zihar. Pozabil sem. Že, Juška.
He's trying to create as much
space as
possible. Barely above on
like.
surge, and so gonna have the task of trying to find something again.
He's kind of figured out the pattern for the lobby right now. I kind of see it too. For every strong duel there is, based up 3 layers high,
okay, Andras, okay,
there's a weak one slightly below, who are taking shots, trying to basically siphon the power that these guys have with their mats in there.
Koliko ima K1nzell je mačka nabavil nad
Surgeom. Not only
Surgeom.
by K1nzell, but I believe Surge as well. Unless Wakey had a sick pinch on the right, yes, I can hear the lightning around them, so these guys are going to be desperate to get in.
Ta Osar Momo ima Surge, tako da to lahko kill dobita. K1nzell ga je tudi tagel, tako da ima free kill.
No chance for Momo breaking in. 2 people though side by side. K1nzell has the dynamic movement and the ability to follow through with it. And they get 2 more eliminations.
Sam še ta FNCS mora začeti boljšega. Mislim, da se so bili 5, ker je, ne 5, ne vem, ker je 9 ali kaj so bili. Še zmeri insane, ampak vsem. Da pridejo top 3.
so swiftly, something we've not been able to see from the top teams.
Marinko, 80 je full tako previsok.
These guys have been the perfect example.
A ne moraš dati nižji, Marinko.
Now gonna pad their way into zone. Going for that positioning once again. You can see k1nzell chooses his spot, but they've got to be careful because
Wakey! Oh, God. Wakey tle ga ubil.
He needs his teammate to come in and help him.
k1nzell je prišel zraven.
Does a great job, but maybe he can just find some space. He can get the siphon, use that
God. k1nzell pa nekako k1nzell lahko te Dreamhacke tako dobro igra. Prvi je k1nzell, Juško, saj imaš v naslavo. Marinko, to je kar, ja. To je kar visok. Koliko ti gre pa 100 visok, da imaš noge še normalno, da dosežeš tal? Chat, dve zapored igri imata one dve. Dve zapored igri sta one dva zmagala, oni dve. Bravo. God, jaz. Si ne, Juško.
All kind of tied alongside Stormy and Toos for second place. It's a three-way tie that's about to be broken with this game. We'll see exactly who comes out on top because we're going straight towards the
Skoro, Wakey je klačil drugi game? Ja, nisem videl. Kaj je bilo drugi game? A je bil skos solo ali kaj? Mislim na konc. Koliko je klačil? Full ali?
Gonna be looking for anybody around him, anybody that could potentially cause them any sort of a harm.
Da je Tyson off-spawn umrl dvakrat, tako da to moramo videti. Sam to je to, ne, zdaj je contestant, ne. Preka slava.
Did so well yesterday, looking once again to maintain their spot in the top 10. You can see so many teams gliding in now.
k1nzell je prvi, ja.
Nikov and Blast already. One of the best positions
Juško, ti sploh nisi stal kol, kako ti nabiješ? Aj, pa vsi ne ta like, več ga davco malo ka lajko, ajde. Pa ne bo zaboravil, kod je ScorpLZ na šobu. Naslednji mesec je nova sezona, tako da, če bomo pršali na 20 supporterjev, bom več PLP-sov giftil, okej? Da vam tudi malo nazaj vrnem, tako da hvala sem, ko pravite, tako da ScorpLZ na šobu, hvala. Na konc, okej. Če ne drugega sam napište, da je ne pozabite napisati, če kaj kupite, gledaj. Tyson je nikar umrl, pa ni off-spawn umrl. Tyson je zdaj umrl. Sam to še zmer slabo, ne, top 20, top 21, to je tako zelo slabo. Pa tako je umrl, ne, Tomas se je žliče, lega. Kaj se igra s Tomasom, a ne?
The struggle begins, Shayo, and the launch pad comes
Ta pad je bil tako, uf.
One of the only ways for them to get. You can see Stormy around Toos up above there. With Blaster going down, Nikov is all alone as well, and you know he has a mountain to climb. He's trying to get ahead, maintain a second place.
God rotation, God rotation.
Easy, but you can see as he traverses through.
God rotation.
Not many materials left, but enough to just get him by.
He's got to be careful. He's got to be super careful.
Jansko ne more pa od mene. Smo ga ostavili.
He's going to be holding on to the clutches for his team. 23
Nikov
HP, but he gets taken out for the count.
k1nzell pa Wakey še vedno živa. Pač Goda sta, what?
They're alive all the way on low. The battle for second place still continues with ultimate height and supreme low ground.
So high above as well.
Da vidimo.
They do need to find some sort of elimination.
Wakey je dubo knock.
Not very fruitful.
Finish, ali pa kills. Ja, finish.
And so they will look for any elims, trying to close.
A sta zmagala pred, kot da sta imela height chat, prvi dve igri, ki nisem gledal.
And so you got to watch out for them. We know they're.
A sta brez heighta zmagala.
In a couple of moments.
Zdaj me kama od Stormy, ne, zanima me kama Toos za Whitehille. Če prije do killa. k1nzell je knockan. Edno, če bo Wakey klačal spet. Wakey je čislav. Wakey bo zdaj umrl po moje. Ko je Wakey še živ? Wakey zdaj plesno te pravo dobijat. Wakey je umrl, 7 sta bila po moje. 7 ali pa 8 sta bila. Po moje 7. Dobro, to je še zmer god, če sta toliko v spredi. Ajde sta imela 202 točki pred to igro, kakor jaz vem. Ja, to je gaming, sem prebral. Da vidimo. Stormy pa Toos imata zdaj lahko dost free win. Dejansko imata free win.
He's going to be looking to stay alive, grab this placement, hope that anyone else goes down in front of him. A big shot onto Crow.
Oh.
His dual partner right beside him.
Udozgori so ga. Sem se da vklačil. Ja, to sta zmagala, ni šans, da ne zmagata. On ima Bendiga, pa konec dva imata. Ne, nima več. Stormi nima več Slurfisha. Ali če ga je dropil teammateu. Živo XT, jo. Živo Mihac.
Here goes the final drop.
You can see now the 2v2. High ground versus low ground here. Stormy right and two. They've done so well up to this point. It's going to be about getting those crucial final shots. They're not even playing for a heal off. It looks like Stormy right just wants to take the fight straight to Stylo and Maestro. It is just a waiting game now. The zone is getting smaller and smaller. He's looking to drop down and try find an angle. Try find
Majster pro. O, dubu je enega. O moj bog. Majster je oba dubu. Ja, okej. Okej, Majster je tu, Ivano. GG. Mislim, vam vituju. GG. Ajde, da vas pustim zapora, dajde, GG so chat. Moramo pogledati, kako gre še Tysonu. Subscribe, cup, okej. Ajde, da vidimo. K1nzell vaja še vedno prvi, ampak ni več 100 točk, ni več 100 točk. 61 točk. 61 točk, chat. Kaj, da vidimo, a napišem naslov K1nzell Dreamhack God. God. Vprašaj, klicaj, vprašaj. Da ne bo zdaj skozi 100 pik pisal. Mariko Delera, udarite bom, zdaj bom doniral, da boš videl bajs. Ja, kurac. Ođaj je za naslednji teden grem keke rešiti, kar nekaj se maja, že en teden, kako imam, pa kar strgam pošto, sem dobil mamo jim. Marinko, čist noro model. Marinko je čist noro. Holy. Kaj je igral? Marinko je znoro. Ođaj, da pogledamo Tysona. Average placement 3,3, čeprav te dva Stormy Light, pa tu smo, da tudi dobre placemente. Ni bad. Evo, kako gre še Benji, jo. Benji tudi nekaj ne gre, ali? Ker je god muska. Benji pa Savage sta 25. Blasta 42, 0 killov, se pravi offspawn sta umrla, 11 pa 36, uf, to je kar slava. To je basically offspawn. Ne, ni, opa, nevermind. Ja, slabo ima gre. Da vidimo, kje je Tyson, pa Thomas. Tyson. Dvakrat sta off-spawn umrla. Uf. Takrat sta pa preživela, pa en kill. Zelo ima gre slabo, ne vem zakaj. Chat, to ni slovenski Luša. Chat, to ni ta, kaj Slovenc. To ni ta Luša. Ne vem zakaj vi skozi mislite, da je to on. Ajde, da vidimo, kaj je Tyson tweetu, ajde. Kaj je, da kao aimbota je, ali kaj? Ne vem, le, čak da vidim. To je itak replay, z replaya je ful težko vedeti. Pač ne vem, no, to je preveč, to ne moraš vedeti. Mislim, tale lock, mislim, sam to je replay, a ne, hiter se je obrnil, zelo hiter se je obrnil, ampak veš, koliko je bilo že takih playev v CS-ju. Kot se zgodi, to ne moraš vedeti. Ampak replay vedno zgleda slabo, tako da z replay je ful težko vedeti. Kva je to, no? Ta muska, živo, Džuko, jojo. Zgledaj, ta sem nisem zastavil, ne vem, zakaj si je tako naštimo na Fortnite trackerju. Oskar, skoro, lahko malo več komentiraš, poveš, kdo je mrtev, zato ker mi je Fort update in imam vse zmazan. Mislim, vse komentiram tako, če za Slovenca pa to, zdaj za vsaz ga ne omenjam, no. To je elevator music, to ja. Tu so ruski software. Lej, ne vem, a hackajo ali ne. Ne moreš, iz replaya ne moreš videti. Enostavno ne moreš. Več, koliko sem že jaz flikov naredil, recimo od CS, pa isto kdaj v Fortu, ki jih ne bi smel nikoli zadeti. Ampak kdaj se ti po serija? Pač tlej težko vedeti. Koliko imamo še 3 igre, a ne, če tlih na pol smo.
Hello there and welcome back to Dreamhack Open featuring Fortnite. We are halfway through now.
We are halfway through. Ker to priporočaš do 200 evrov. En pisarniški ti priporočam stol. Ne iskat gamerskih stolov. Če hočeš, da ti bo najbolj udoben za sedeti, pa da bo najboljši za tvoj telo, definitivno kakšen office share. Matevžek, pozdravim, mislim, da me prihvali, ljubim se Matevžka, pozdravim, kako si hvati. Živo, Nuša, živo. Jaz sem kar vsak game tweeta, kaj je smešnega. Pa kaj je smešnega. Jaz te dva leve, dva komentatorja prvič vidim.
From K1nzell and Wakey was incredible. But also, there's been some upsets that I wasn't expecting. Haste and Thomas have been eliminated before the end game quite a few times. I think over in the most recent match.
Kako si Matevžek, hvala ti. Jaz sem tudi super Matevžek. A je Henor serverjem za areno, ker skozi nam crasha. To se zgodi že pojma nimam god, Ainor. Ne znam, da bo, ker nisem arene zdaj nač igral. Kaj ti nabijaš, Gral?
An absolute veteran of Dreamhack, going back to the solo ones that he's performed so well in. On top of that, you know, guys like
Hey, can you do a delay test? I want to see how much the delay is. Ok, Abi, dajte, ok, delay test naredimo, da vidimo, koliko je delaya. Kad slišite eno številko, tisto številko takoj v chat napišete, ok, ko vam rečem. Ok, napišite številko 9. Ajde, da vidim.
It's always the case here with Dreamhack, though, is that you've
Da
always
vidim
got
delay.
people right on your coattails, desperate to claw their way ahead of you in the race to the finish line.
Okay.
Some of the highlights here as well.
Okay.
Maestro first here in form.
Kaj je, koliko je to? Koliko je to?
It was a great game, lots of
6 sekund? 60? 10 sekund? Ne vem.
Absolutely. I mean, you
Glej ga, Gral.
the snipes we saw there. Now Maestro here on the low ground as well, getting
Ajde,
a
da
good
vidimo.
amount of eliminations. Not only him, but Styler with 4 eliminations already. I mean, we've been seeing a lot of action.
No, ne, Abi, ni dolg. Normalen delay za 2K streame.
If you're able to get a
20
good
minut prav.
elimination game with a good amount of placement, I mean, it gives you an incredible amount of points.
To ni toliko malo.
Maestro and Styler there picked up 9.
Ne, cca 10 sekund, ja, to zato, ker je 2K.
103 points. So huge for them.
Dobro,
which
ako
let's
ScorpLZ.
be honest, put them up on the leaderboards. That's moved them up to 5th.
8 sekund prav, Roix, tam nekje. Ja, se je. Kaj hočeš zdaj, da tweet od Sedža pogledam? Vi, vaši tweeti, jao. Ta tweet pa un tweet pa tret tweet.
Don't talk about casting and doing math at the same time. Look, let's be real. No surprise at the top. We've got K1nzell and Wakey.
Ajde, vidimo.
69 points, 2 victory royales. We've already mentioned it. Then Storm round 2, 208 points right below.
My guy is dwarf.
100% within
What?
the game in that first place.
What?
Yeah, I'm actually
Okay.
impressed that although
Chat,
they
slaba kvaliteta, ampak gledaj to. Dajte tega nasprotnika, koliko je mejhan. Daj, koliko je mejhna ta aura.
one good
What?
game and one mistake from K1nzell and Wakey
What?
that gives them the first place.
What?
Yeah, definitely. It's been quite
Kaj
a
to?
fun here as well.
Kaj to?
Sort of Benji and Mr. Savage there as well, who
What the
they were doing
fuck?
fantastically well. You know, they were going for they could not
Ne se jebat.
even to kind of get those standings points, which is
What?
As well. But you can see here, this is the second half of the leaderboard as well here. What the fuck? How? Now we're halfway through.
Master je tako.
How did he kill me, bro?
Still
Master čismek.
to make it back on the leaderboard, so I wouldn't change anything too drastically. Obviously, isn't working to the best of your ability, right? You could be first place, but if you already have close to 100 points, as long as in the next 3 games, you're able to get top 6, top 5, and a few eliminations in the end game, that's gonna boost you up.
Yeah, and you know, you've got guys like Denotes really in there at 11th who'll drop
Kaj
10,
to
15, 20
model?
every time I see them kind of middling on the leaderboards. We know they could drop a big Elim game, climb right back up. You know, you had guys like K6 and 4ZR who won the last season's one, who were 17th as well. So huge potential for these guys. 3 more games left. Not too worried.
Let's have a quick look at your predictions.
Ne moram verjeti. A si ti res igral s Tysonom? Sam parkrat, ja.
Tyson Thomas as well as
Če boš še kaj projekti za skrijem pol. Ne, jutr bomo. Verjetno pravi, da je tudi zmatran, pa da bi rač pol, da je jutr.
Yeah, so I wanted to rep a bit of the Spanish blood, right? K1nzell and Nexo, who are 2 players from Spain. Unfortunately,
pa mi
I
ja bi
believe
spama
they're
spet.
in 30th right now, but I mean, there's still 3 games left. You know, I have hope. I believe in them. It's about the faith.
Look, I'm wanting Vidil Noah to pop that double-digit elimination because I am biased. Because I want them to climb up from 11th all the way up higher into leaderboards. And look, they're just a fun team to watch.
Yeah, we've seen them. They really are. We know them so well as well. So hopefully your team can get back up that leaderboard. 30th place is not. Oh, it's a little bit depressing.
Idemo ene duo Dreamhacka zdaj, ajde gra pobrat denar. Amra god, ti rečem, ja, pay to win. Pora zdaj zadnji 3 dni full lagam in vse težave imajo. Ma ne 3 dni, pač odkar, ja, kar je ta update bil, zdaj ta update zadnji je nekaj se sral. Veš, Saška, če boš tako naprej spraševal, ne boš dobil nikoli nič, tudi če boš zmagal giveaway.
Don't go anywhere, it's all coming your way right here in just a few minutes time.
Kaj mi Juško zdaj spema DM? Evo, šef. Ja, si ti istam, a? Kaj kaže, kje si? Juško je praktično moj sosed, ali kva? Ne seri. Ja, fej Saška, ne. Že Alvin. Koliko dolg bo to model? Tyson ali Mongrel? Tyson. A mogoče reči, zakaj mene kaže performance moda? Ne kaže ti performance moda? Pojma nimam. Ne, nisva dobila skina včer Godajner, 4 točke. Že Alex Ličan, jojo.
Welcome back everybody to the Dreamhack Open featuring Fortnite.
Ne, Abi, prav da je kao zmenša, sam se ne verjam, da je. Pač, kar eno random ulco je tle zram, po mojem mi poslal. Sploh ne vem, skje je Juško. Sploh ne vem, kakšen glas ima. Jaz sem pa spet gledal še pri drugem času dobil skin. Bravo, jaz ga še zdaj nisem. Naslednja igra. Member only chat. Ajde, poslovte se. Sam zdaj je delay, se verjetno auto moga posloviti. Jebi ga. Vse zgodi. Vse zgodi.
Yeah, I mean, they usually just fight someone, so, you know.
Ja, za te dva kastrinja bom tudi vůz spraševal, če boste hotel imeti ali ne, okej? Naslednji teden v tork, chat. Imamo en stream, kjer boste lahko prišli okol, pa mi povedali stvari, kaj bi izboljšali, česa bi radi več in tako naprej, okej?
Heavy elimination points and, you know, taking a relatively standard fight as well near the drop spot. Because they're in the middle of the map, they have a lot of opportunities to go for them. So, again, you know, not overly concerned. Butterflows and Tripper right now, them, I'm maybe a little bit more concerned about.
A little bit, but I mean, with 195 points and also an on-count on I'm feeling pretty good for them. I feel like if they have a good end game here, they're going to be putting themselves in a very good spot.
Abby, I don't think it's worth to have 2K streams.
Well, this is game 4, but game 5, but we'll have to see here
if
they're able to get to the end game, if they're feeling good, you know, if they're feeling that momentum from their previous matches. But also look at this, Stormy right in twos, one of our top teams right now in this session.
Top teams in duos, top teams in trios. Realistically, these guys have been on fire for the last few seasons overall, and having Slurpee swaps uncontested for the last few games has been so good for them. Even though this POI has been nerfed right during the invasion.
Ne, Juško, drugače nisam, pa sem bil tako. Aj, dej, sem rekel, najbolj, da si sosed.
Given the amount of environmental heals that are here, they can just establish themselves so much easier.
A ne, zato ga bite zihar bite videl, zihar bi vedel, kdo si.
They can loot it quickly, disengage, get out. Another place has been kind of impacted by the current season. Kind of heard a little bit talking of it earlier by Shayo. The draw spot right here, Holly Hatchery, the place that's got this low gravity zone. If you do not really want endgame that comes into here.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I love about Slurpee. It's so unique in that sense that you have slurp barrels, you have the slurp trucks close by. There's a lot of shield that you can get.
Abby, I'll ask others and I'll see what they think.
And that's very beneficial, especially in a finals where these players are so experienced, they know how to get their tags, they know how to get their storm surge, and they're going to be looking for those long range packs with the slurp rifle. If you don't have shield to heal that up, it's going to be very dangerous for you.
It will. Look, I saw that. I saw that little pop up there. The production's trying to get us to not cast it. They're trying to get us to sting. They're trying to get us to harmonize here, but
Savage pa Benji tle landata. Denotes spet off-spawn umrla slučajno.
Going on a few times. Benji fishing Mr. Savage off-spawn.
Maybe Benji... Ima Benji free flank.
Advantage being a little bit lower down, trying to get angles, but they do have a nice
yes, gospod Lahi, bravi. Gospabi,
Gospa
Johnson.
No AR to his name, so if he manages to miss that shot, he's only really got 5 bullets of the pistol.
Lord, will snipe us
behind as well, which is basically the complete opposite what you want while you're trying to get into this fight and get it over with quickly.
Tale fight bo full predolg trajal, se mi zdi za njiju.
Bite the bait, but Benji Fishy might here, as there is a team close by on the high ground here. A little more elevated than Benji Fishy, but I don't know if he wants to get into an engagement right now, especially seeing that he's on 63 points, had a little rough mid-game in the last match,
Gospa Lakić je 7 let. Kaj si ti videla zdaj 7 let?
To make a comeback. So as long as he gets his mats, he farms up and plays for the end
Kdo je
game,
rekel, da
I
obožujem
think he'll have
Kranjska
a good
Gora?
shot of making that comeback. But if they get into an engagement now and it doesn't go well, that's going to be damaging.
Yeah, and the opposing team's not making it easy for
Najbolj,
them
da se
either.
odselimo
I think they're
Kranjska Gora,
probably
Abi,
way
ne,
more
nikoli.
loaded and booted just by the fact that they're just sitting up on high. You
Ne.
can see the HP much
Ne.
higher as well, given... I'm not sure entirely where they dropped and how they rotated in here. If this was a contestation of spawn, it looks more like they pushed them potentially from that coral side instead. But given the fact that they're sitting high ground and just chilling out, I'm guessing they have way more materials than Benji and Savage.
Pogovo več gledalcev ka lajkov, ajde gremo, stisnite like, ne pozabimo kod je ScorpLZ, hvala.
Not overly commit at all, but Savage and Benji doing a really good
Ker
job
god
of
glas
just
imam jaz, kad to
consistently
govorim, a?
harvesting up the brick that they've got around there.
Oh,
So they
Benji
can
gre
push,
kariola.
and they are going to start to engage, but no, Savage actually starts to get sprayed back down. Still only 15 bills to his name, and they know that they probably need to end this fight quickly, so they're starting to elevate, but no, height team contesting them.
Ne
does a
bota ih
good,
mogla
good
dobiti,
job
ni
of
šans, se nima ta
keeping
meca da
away.
prijeta sploh gor.
What's so
Nemogoče je.
dangerous about this is that Savage, look at his materials. He does not have enough materials to retake this high ground here. His only option is to break down his opponents. But as he looks for shots onto those builds, he can get tagged himself.
Probate
So he has
ih
to be
dol vršt.
careful. He also has to watch out for if the duo wants to drop on him at the same time, since Benji isn't exactly
Oh!
too close to him. That's
Po
just what
box me
happened there.
uletu.
Someone gets into Mr.
Kar ni ga
Savage's
še
box.
ubal.
He's on 50 HP,
What?
but he hits him for 30 white. This is
Kogo ga-
winnable here. Now they're in a
Kdo ga ni
1
ubal?
versus 2 situation.
Ta min
Benji and Mr. Savage
war.
have the
Ali where?
advantage in this battle.
Koga ni ubil?
Managed to pick
What?
up one elimination, 52 HP left on Mr. Savage, as well as Benji getting tagged back
Ovo
in
ta
return
pazit.
by the opposing player here, and they're so
Sad mora pazit
slow.
kaj
They're
low.
trying to play slow because they know they don't have those mats, but Dinster up on high ground does not appear to have any heals, so the longer he draws this out,
Ajo,
I was
že
going to
dead.
say the worse it gets for him, but no, Benji manages
Nice,
to pick it
nice.
up. That's too easy.
Nice,
eliminations
gremo,
for
Benji,
right
gremo.
there. But unfortunately, this has slowed down their game a ton. Now they have barely any mats. They're going to need to try and get their metal. They're going to harvest, try and rotate. Good bit of Storm Surge ticked off, but still. there's a
Bravo,
lot
Mare,
more
to
of
se
the
full
game
narobe
left.
sliši.
Hey, it could be worse though. It could be worse. They could have lost that engagement,
Če veš,
gotten
kdo sem.
eliminated, and it would have
Ja,
been
Linux si.
quite bad for Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage. But that,
Si mi že
that
povedal,
was
da
a
si
pretty
mes
intense
sprejel.
moment there. One of the opponents jumped. I think it was
Al?
into Mr. Savage's box, and I got a little scared there. But
Me
they
too.
managed to come out on top, got those
Bravo, Juška,
eliminations,
dober
and
flex.
now if they're able to get into the storm
Dober
in a
flex.
good position where they won't be held by players who are already based up in the zone, this could be pretty good for them. But they do have to do some farming, maybe even some looting. I don't know how exactly their shield count is looking, but they have a bit of work
Da
to
malo
do
K1nzell
before they get into
pokaže,
that
da vidimo
endgame.
kakšen loot
Yeah,
imajo.
moving over to Styler and Maestro as well. Seemingly
Dve
in
igri
a
sta
very
sta
good
zmagala,
spot.
če vas
In
zanima
leading
K1nzell pa
right
Wiki.
now. Remember, they
Prvi
were the
dve
team
igri
that
sta
managed
zmagala,
103
tretja
points,
sta
the
bila
most
sedma.
points in the last game with 9 eliminations. Needs to be
Kvota
another big
za
fight potentially from Maestro
61
if he has
točk
another one in
pred
his
drugim
inventory
mestom.
right now. Both opting to use the parasites on their head along
dosti
with the
velik.
inflatable. The
Ampak
inflatable is
tudi ni
really,
toliko
really
spet.
fun in terms of this.
Kar killi so full vredni tle,
balanced mobility
v
they can use,
Dreamhacku.
takes up that inventory slot, but at the same time, you know, not a lot of teams have been taken in trios. I've said a long time ago, as soon as I saw this item come out, that eventually there's going to be hype players who are going to take this, just maybe their ultimate
To je
hype
slačka, to
player
sem že
for
prebral.
in-game. One of
Sam
them
ne vem, kaj naj
puts it way
odgovorim.
up high if he drops him out,
Žal.
that inflatable to keep him
Zakaj
in
se
the
ne med
game, but
Kitaja,
it
kam
seems
ono
like in
žvaga?
duos, like, there's a lot more use to it.
Absolutely. I remember we were talking about that. Like, is it, and what's going to change, right, with these inflatables? Is there going to be people playing super ultimate? Because you do not take fall damage if you pop it in the air while you're falling. So, I mean, I'd love to see it. But I was actually talking with Monster about this yesterday on the NA East broadcast. And it's that when you're in duos, it's a lot easier to use inflatable, because when you're playing in trios, it's hard to get 3 inflatables and coordinate with your whole trio to make a good rotate. But when it's just you
zdaj sem
and
sam
one other
poslušal.
player, it's a lot easier to even use them in moving circles to get some quick
Alivox,
rotates
pa.
and conserve materials.
Ne vem, o čem govoriš.
Absolutely.
Če
And
videl
just
sem,
realistically, you know,
poslušal sem
imagine
zdajle,
that endgame where you
o čem
go
je
three,
govoril
you're
glede
trying to
teh
find a good
kravic,
path and
da
you
je
have
bejal duo,
three
to pač
bulls
so ful
through
boljše
cows,
kot od trio tih.
like,
Mislim, se je logično,
those
v trio tih je res
animals,
težko,
and
kot
then
prvo,
you need to go back
da imajo vsi, kot
couple of
drugo,
years of my education
se
to
koordinirati
figure
kot
out
trio
that,
je ful težko. Če si duo, se komot lahko. Tyson še živ, Tyson mislim, da je še živ, ja. Mogo bi biti, no. Nisem nič videl gor.
In particular, like we've not seen any really on. I don't think that much use to them at
Res je
all in the
face flaška,
earlier
res je.
games so far. And you see Tripper and Flawless also still not
Koga
opted to
boš
use
to
one
še
either because
napisal,
they have one in
Linux?
the base down below. So they're in a good spot, hoping to maybe get
Maybe
some
you can
strong
get it in
tank for that
chest or in
sniper
these
from
IO
here, but
chests.
I think they're just kind of chilling out.
Yeah, I mean, their loot is looking very good. Epic
Ej,
assault
kaj bi
rifle
lepo
there,
slovensko
epic,
piše, no, kje
or
sploh
even,
dobiš
it might
krava?
have been
Iz
a
chesta,
legendary
vprašaj?
Tactical shotgun. I'm not
Cute.
sure exactly what it was, but basically they're set up
Linux,
for the
zdaj še
end
dvakrat
game
napiš, no, ker še nisem prebral.
weapon-wise, and I'm pretty sure they have a good amount of shields and materials too. So if they have enough Storm Surge,
O,
they're
tale
ready
bo
to go.
Karaka
Take a
igral.
look though of Noah and
Pa
Vidil,
dva
who also
peda imajo.
have an incredible loadout with not only shield and good weapons, but also mobility. 2 peppers, also at least 1 launch pad. So it's looking good for them.
Nekako mi je zdaj full fajn trio igrati, chat. Ne vem zakaj, ampak končno sem dobil trio, mi je full fajn igrati. Ko bo bolj doti, skom da fakt ne igram.
They just went straight for a fight. Potentially this was the remnants of that up to the north here because they're very frequently moving up there
Da
to
ne
get
bom
their metal. You
cringeala,
see they have
pravi.
that metal, and given Boney has almost none, potential is that they
Živijo
went for
Fember,
a
jo,
fight
jo.
up there and managed to grab that off. But either
Sve
way,
ti
right
ona
now, they're
muska
going to make a
ovdje
good rotate. They have a
morala.
long way to go. Storm Surge
Aj, pa gremo do
probably
500 lajkov,
largely
stisnite
to the point
like.
picked off.
Gremo!
Probably still a couple more tags, but those peppers in inventory are so critical.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to make use of peppers and rotates, it can conserve so many materials that you could even save half a moving zone or a full moving zone if you do it correctly at the right time. So I love seeing these players use peppers even for retaking high ground, right? We've seen it happen
Kakšna je lestica?
before in trios where
K1nzell
you kinda
prvi,
sneak up
Tyson ne gre
on the high
dobro.
ground team, pop a pepper and just ramp straight up above them. And I mean, it works sometimes. So I love seeing these mobility items that really
Braviška.
can make a big difference in the
Insane.
end games.
Definitely.
Kodnik, kaj je narobe, če je hiter na sezon? Se to ni hiter,
Now,
what?
been a very congested
Pazi, ti
spot.
zdaj
We've seen
jezen.
a lot of fights actually go on Z Hill, right? This
What?
spot that they've claimed that ultimate high ground over right now. Basically, I remember that's in the first game where we saw that Tayson fight kick off between, was it Nikov who came in and picked them up? It's in the exact same area. And you can see the amount of congestion in there due to the fact there was yet another north side zone.
Da vidimo, če to Vadil pa nova zmaga tale fight. Da vidimo, že Jack pa na kako si.
That's true. I mean, it's you never know, right? Sometimes you're like, oh, there's been so many south
Ooh,
sides,
below
it's gotta be south
surge.
again, but sometimes it's just all north. Sometimes it's just
Ooh.
middle of the map on the dot.
Ah,
You
ja,
never
okay,
know,
stop
right?
up, never mind,
There's
like
no special trick to calculating these zones, right?
Jaz,
But, I
Saška,
mean, there's a lot of people
3
trying to figure it
mesece je
out,
po
so, I
nad
mean,
sezona,
you
malo
never know.
daljno.
Never know, maybe mountains, you can say high grounds, elevation, won't go into water if you're on the corner. You know, there's some little
Linux,
things
to sem že
you can
prebral.
take into account, but you can't get it 100%.
No, there's no 100%.
Že
Everyone
na
says
noni, jo,
100%.
kako si?
They're not telling the truth. But I mean, realistically, the main way you can kind of read the zones, not predict most necessarily, is to make sure that you, if it sees pulls right to the edge of the map, it's probably going to keep going that way for the next few zones. That's most likely to. But hey,
Yeah.
if you try to do that and it doesn't go that way, don't blame me, okay? There's still RNG. There's still
Ja,
RNG.
tale je dead.
As we just see Driven Pugga completely picked
A smo
up.
kaj videli
By
Tysona
Thomas
goče?
Hasty,
Evo ga
picking up
Tyson pa to.
eliminations
A ja,
in
on je
this
dosta
game.
dobre
This might
kile.
be the one where they're
No,
starting
in
to
zato je bilo
get
to
I'm
easy.
liking this. I'm liking this,
Nice.
Reese. We got Tayson Thomas getting the aggression in,
Linux,
getting the
če nimaš kaj za
eliminations,
napisati,
and
ne
giving them
rabiš
a bit more of
pisati.
that confidence,
Niti
right, that they
nujno
might have
pisati, men
lost
verjam.
from the first couple or even few
Da se
games
že, da
that
ti
they
gledaš
didn't
stream in
have
uživaš.
a good start here. Also, a quick did you know, Thomas and
So mi,
Tayson
Abi,
are the
so mi.
only duo that placed top 10 in the last 3 Dreamhack Opens.
Ooh, see, they're 41st right now. So that's the cool
Čakaj, Tyson pa Thomas sta edini duo, ki sta plesala top 10 v zadnjih 3 Dreamhackih, ali kaj?
Right? This game they've got 2
A
eliminations.
sem to prav
That's
prebral?
almost the same amount of points as they had throughout the first 3 games total. But if they don't kind of pick up this pace for the last 3, like a top 10 is how far behind them? Almost like 100 points, 101
Kotnik,
points.
drugač Battle Pass je toliko lahko narediti v Fortniteu. Vse, kar rabaš je en dan v mesecu vzameš 6 ur čanča, da diš pa si takoj 100. Takoj si. Res v easy. Jaz sem 155 level, pa sem skrime skozi igral, ker se ne level upaš sploh. Vadil je čist low.
Health here, 50 shield, gonna be 100 soon, but they're on the edge of zone. Zone closes far. If you look at the mini-map, there is an incredible amount of trios looking at them. I do not like this position at all.
So we talked about this position earlier when we were
But res je v easy level 100 Battle Passu.
Super congested area of
Še
the storm
preveč.
because of the way that the zones have pulled, and because Noah and Vadil have rotated in here late, they are just stuck. Now they're in amongst
Ja,
all
Wakey pa
of the
K1nzell.
players who are here, along with Wakey
Čakaj, Wakey pa K1nzell še nista dobila točk. Kaj, ali nič, aja, nič placementov še ni bilo.
45
kilo
kills
mata.
to their name. Currently, this does not look like a game they can win, right? They're not set up in a game. They need to make a play from here on out. They need to get some sort of eliminations to get a refresh. Also, let's be real, they need to get rotate going. They need to get moving.
Ta rotation. Tale igra bo full teška za njiju. Res full. Vajk ima en.
In terms of that's where they
left
can
damage.
rotate, but obviously they're looking for the Storm Surge tanks first.
That's what I was looking at. I mean, they need a refresh.
Mata pepper
but
vsak.
if they go for it now, their zone's going to start
no.
closing, and that's not going to end up well for them. So they're going to have to get to zone, and then once they're in zone, they can start looking for things. Maybe a little pre-edit now.
Ja sam ovak, spazam što prej, bil sam malo zelo verjetno zabijal neki.
Maybe even
Da sam
dropping
dobar.
down on
Kosti.
opponent, anything
Možda
to
ne,
give them that
ja
refresh,
sam
a little
super.
bit more materials,
Basket mi je danas,
little
smijem
bit
basket
of
se igra.
ammunition, whatever they need, but looks
Nate
like they
of
can
course
get
Jars
pretty clean
double
rotate
kill.
here
God.
above Zate Hill, going around it. And if you look at the minimap at the bottom right, there's also quite a few trios rotating, but all they want to do is get the zone. I'd be quite surprised
Ja sam drugačio sad bi naučio slovensko.
battling Noah and Vadil on this rotate.
Yeah, it's not
Brez
a team you
mene
want to
ona
fight
ne
either.
znala.
You know, there's a lot of teams that are rotating in this area, and if you
Dodal se
pick
bo
Vadil
Hagran.
and Noah to
Daj
fight,
sam jeszcze živ
you
kako
picked the
svem.
wrong card, you know. You've
Vidite
flopped
kako bo
at
zdaj
that
jezna.
point, realistically, because these are probably the two hardest players to fight in the region, and now they're teaming up. Well, they're always teamed up, realistically, but they're teaming up still right here together. They have the
Juško,
chug cannon,
to-
they don't have the
to
best
ni toliko
materials,
pomembno.
so they are going to be one of the toughest fights, but it seems like they may be okay to get in. Their line of sight seems relatively good from here. You can see that
A, zdaj čisto
the
jezna.
barn is basically just
Že
past that
Vibex,
where they
jo.
need to get into
Jo.
Storm, and most of the players seem to be on the other side of that. So from here on out, it should be an okay
Chat,
rotate,
ko
but
mi
at the same
čakam
time,
stream
sometimes
utork,
lobby
ko mi
decides
čakam
other
utork,
words, as Vadil
morate biti
starting
vsi na
to spray.
streamu, pa joinite se na moj Discord, klicaj Discordu chat, da vam skoro en bod, da link do mojega Discorda, če še niste noter, ker boste imeli šanso, da mi greste kaj povedati, kaj bi radi izboljšali, kaj vam ni všeč na streamih in tako naprej, ok? Ker bomo probali narediti res čim bolj, ker bo šola se začela čim bolj zabavno, ok? Content in tako naprej. Ja? Živijo, Vipex, jo. Ja, zelo juško. Jo, easy, ko mi daš 60 sem. Ne znaš challenge delati.
They should be good, but there's been a little bit of lobby focus. Looks like it's
Pa
happening
se igral
here in
lih
the
trikrat.
corners. They found a solo who had already no shield, low health, and got finally eliminated.
Dejansko, če enkrat na teden odigraš, da une challenge narediš, ko pride, je dost. Si lahko še
It
200
was
po mojem.
Mats though,
Pa
or
200 ne,
Amplify,
ne.
one of the two. We saw them tag for white damage. So in the situation where
slaba,
Waking
Joks,
K1nzell need a
slaba.
refresh, you see white tags go off. They were actually way more calm and patient than a lot of top teams would have been. A lot of people would have tagged that white. They would have gone, we need this, we need these mats, just get in. But no, they were calm about it. They managed to get in. They probably didn't get entirely everything from it because I think Tomzy and Pablo
No, jaz
probably
nisi
got
dal
some
po
from
mojem
it.
lih
But they
time
got
out,
the materials that they
ampak
needed.
vem,
Not
da
an
drugače to
ideal
Linux.
amount to keep moving.
Sam povem,
but
drugače,
it's
po
something.
moje, no.
Next zone
Po
starts
moje,
going further to the
ni bilo
east as
tako.
well. The whole
Ni bilo
lobby
nič
basically
tako.
has to rotate.
Yeah, this is
Ampak vse v redu, v
looking
redu.
dangerous, this
Ni
rotation. I'm
panike.
not gonna lie. It's not
Bo
necessarily
preživel.
too far, but with the amount of duos you see at the bottom right mini-map, I mean, there's gonna be some engagement.
Malo sta skat chat, K1nzell pa Wakey. Pač ta game je ful pomemben za njiju. Če zdaj lepo slabo igrata, je tako lahko ene 2-3 duti ju lahko catch-upajo, ne? Ker je zelo slabo. In cela una prednost gre polo v
Keep
K.
going back against the same teams. Either Tomzy and Pablo are going against Vadil and Noah.
Jo,
It's just shot
jaz pa
after
ne.
shot on the same
Jaz pa
teams
ne.
that
Živijo,
they've been
Gapi.
at since they've been stuck on that Zate Hill. So now going to start rotating. See so many people hit the launch pad at the same time, and they're just going to try and go the opposite direction, right? They're going to try and avoid that. Maybe try and reuse one. And yes, they do manage to find the launch pad to get themselves in at this
Okay,
time.
ta launchpad je
Hopefully not
lepo
get beamed
rešil.
out of the sky.
Še zmeraj imate en launchpad,
Location to
oziroma
land,
saj
and yes, not
Wake
looking
ima
to land on
enega.
any single high play. That's not the time you want to go for it at all.
Aj Wakey IGL drugače, čeprav se...
Players were getting eliminated. What a beam!
O moj bog,
from
majster ga je
Wakey,
čist
almost
laserov.
fully knocking down player from 200 to 0, but no, the pre-edit as Hammy and his duo get right into the box.
Niste slišali, da bi bil nekdo za njima.
You can just see how powerful it is as they
K1nzell je prvi, chat, sam zdajle bo težka. A so sploh kaj točk dobila, chat, nista, a ne? To so še placementi nista začela, so se.
They do that a lot in trios as well. So it's so interesting to see Kemi in particular utilize the exact same strategies when it comes
Slaba,
to
živijo na
duo
Jelly.
meta too, but moving back over to two
Bravo,
and
Donzi.
Stormy, right? Currently in second place Going up against Rojo and Boom at this moment. Still edge of Storm.
Južko kaže, hoćeš medalju.
North of them. Not the
Daj
worst
se
one.
igra, stavaš HD-a, mabi.
Good enough materials that could potentially, well, it seems those
Pač, a mislite da taj se lahko comeback? Mislim, itak da lahko comeback, sam ne more več zmagat, po moje. Ker 3 igre sta zelo slabo odigrala. Sploh ne vem, koliko imate točk točno, ampak sta zelo slabo odigrala.
Get some form of elimination in a refresh on. This time, in particular, if they get into the 5th zone, is such a good time to go for those refreshes because it just sets you up for the first and second moving. Sets you up so well, and then you don't have to kind of make those cycle plays eliminations in that first moving.
Yeah, 100%. If you're able to get a refresh now, I mean, it gives you so much safety in the moving zones because you have so many materials that you can use. And if you're able to even conserve mats on the first moving after you already have a refresh,
Tomasa, Tyson pa sedca mrtva, 28. Chat, Tyson pa Tomas bo ta med zadnjimi danes, kaj to?
We're going to rotate this as there's a lot of duos close by here. They don't have a lot of mobility to work
Tale
with.
četvrta igra. Rip Tyson. Tyson pa K1nzell pa deđe to igra. Pa već skrbi za K1nzell, Tyson pa to sliti še zastrala, ne morate zmagati več. Ampak K1nzell, da vegih se zdaj umrla, toliko hmal, je zelo slaba. Pač Tuz pa... Tuz pa... Jo, kaj ta njegov...
From that rotate, I've managed to get a really nice spot. They're elevated relatively high. They're just going to get any angles they can. From the launch pad, they have a ton of availability for that too. They're even trying to take a little look on height, and Luke is up there. Vidila Noah, probably no surprise.
This could be a very good game for Vidila Noah if they end up getting a little bit of that fortunate zone RNG, right? The good luck on the first moving if it pulls to their side. But to be fair, I don't think I see another duo on an opposite high ground, actually a little bit mirrored by Fury and
Ne vem, Juško, če imaš lih šolo ob 70, da razen če imaš res preduro, ampak nimaš skozi predure. Pade v pol 8-8.
Yeah, we saw them with not that many builds earlier on, so I'm wondering if they've either picked up a refresh to keep them going, or if they're just going to use whatever they can on high ground through first and second moving and just hope for the best, you know? Right now, yes, 19 builds, exactly. 19 builds to his name. I'm guessing that Noah probably doesn't have any more in his inventory than that, probably a little bit more. But as the players start to launch that out, we're going to have to figure out what the play is here. They've managed to crack Savage out of the sky. This may be an attempt now to go and push down onto him, get that materials, and then...
Yeah, Savage
is on second height. The spray comes from above, but no, not going to commit to it.
They need something here. They do not have enough materials to play this high ground unless they get every single zone back to back, but the odds of that are so low, so they have to find some sort of refresh. Maybe
zone
a beam out of the sky, maybe just getting into a box on a duo that's second height, but they've got to do something. You can see now Vidila is looking for that elimination, trying to just get in with a tactical shotgun, and he manages to do it, but he gets cracked. So it looks like Vidila is going to go down, leaving it all up to Noah.
Now it's X squeeze.
Nažalost tega ne predura, Juško, na varianti. Dejansko ti na varianti.
Does not have the materials to stay up there, but one last also managing to be up there.
Ni šans da vaš vsak dan predura. What?
We see now Noah really alive as a solo, 130 points to his name. He's trying to sit, trying to hide, trying to do anything that he can to try and get some form of
point. To je to Vidila ali no, saj ne vem, kjer je kjer. Vedno pozabim. A to Vidil, chat.
He's not going to be able to build at
Kam je obol Savage-a?
Well, he has a chuck
Benji še en kill dobo, tako da Benji je še živ, to je nice.
If he can get a refresh that just gives him a little bit of materials, there's a big possibility of doing a good job of a solo in this end game. But we have X-Squeeze on the high ground. Actually, no, look at this. Bad
Predura just means that you start earlier than normal, like 1 hour before that, we call Predura.
Second high, it looks like, and
so for example, if you usually start at 8, if you have Predura sometimes because they couldn't find anything better, you have it like at 7:15.
Yeah, but Toos is actually picked up at the same time, so no grouping up will be done. I think
dokaz,
grouping up now may negatively impact his HP, we'll say. So he's going to try and pop that big and try to tank any of the Storm Surge, the zone that comes back on high. DKS and Bad Sniper too, but no, Storm is also picked up from the high ground team as well. That's
actually so Urnik sta druga dva še živa, nista, ne? Tu smo te dva. Nista, to je dobar, to je dobar.
With Benji Fishy
to je dobar.
down on the low ground.
A lot of solos in this match trying to clutch it up for their duo. We can see, just like you said, Benji Fishy on second high dropping down here, but Flames with 242 points. This could be a very big game from them. Already in the top 7.
Četa, Luša kaj pomeni, drugač, ko imata dva, pa če en Slovenc ima Luša, ime pa en... Oh god, Majster je 2 kila dubo, oh my god. What? Koliko morata biti jezna? Ne, face Laška, kako je sem ni bil. A ne, jutr na nuni ne bo, jutr dopoldne sem prej chat, jutr streamam na Trovotu, ugrevanje za FNCS, pa imamo pa FNCS ob pol 7, okej? Bo te vedel.
Oh, but there's a duo there. He can't go. It's going to be too risky for him, but he doesn't have any more options. He's going to have to tank a little bit of Storm here and then look for an elimination. Anything is going
Majster
to
kar
work.
skos najde te kile
But is it
tle.
enough for the knock? He has not gotten the elimination yet.
Dubo je
Finds a
knock.
very good angle around the Storm, though. Gets the
Ain't
knock on
finish.
Luis. There's still Paco there close by.
Tvaga
Takes
dela
the shot,
ta
though.
model,
Does
kar
not get the
uničuje jih.
elimination.
A ne,
Now
tega ni
it's a
ono bil.
1 versus
A vsem.
2 on the high ground. Bad Sniper and DKS versus Flames. Floundering.
Majster je prišel na drug place, to je tako insane, drugač. Insane clutch je naredil. Ajde, vsi GG so chat, zdaj upamo, da bo... Zdaj upamo, da... Da je K1nzell še vedno prvi, ajde, da vidimo. K1nzell! K1nzell je padel 3. mest, jep. Mislim, vse to ni nič, a ne? Tle 2 točke, 5 točk, to ni nič. Koliko je kilo reden? 6 točk je kilo reden, chat, 6 točk. Kill je polo reden. Pa žal sta to igro dubla nič točk v bistvu, čakaj. Daj se začnejo placementi. Top 25, ja. 0 točk sta dubla to igro, kar je zelo slabo, a ne? Karkoli točk bi dubla, bi bilo veliko boljš, ne? Bi bila že v bistvu pač vedno prva. Benji Savage sta zdaj 13. Končno sta malo mrčkam boljš odigrala. To ni copyright, a? Kaj gleda malo bolj potih. Kva je to? A to je sam tako random slika, ni nobenega videa. Tysonu pa Tomasu gre zelo, zelo slabo. 41 je chat. Dejansko sta dubla tukile 6 točk od kila, pa 5 placementov, malo več, tako da zelo slabo ima gre, res zelo slabo, ne vem kva delata. Ne vem kva delata, da imata tako, a imata toliko sada blood, pa ka prideta v endgame, tukaj ste itak upspawn umrla 2krat. Ne vem. Idi tisto, ko mi ugotavljamo besede. Ja, zdaj imam tle delay, tako da je malo težko, ne viš, ko zdaj sem lačno pogledal. Zdaj sem lih kar pokazal, ker je Tyson. A je soft aim legalen? Ja, najbolj, da je soft aim legalen. Zakaj bi bili hacki legalni? 6 iger je, TRX, 6 iger je. Tomas ni več toliko dober? Ma ne. Odkotnika DM bom pa pogledal. Ja, najbolj, da ste imeli skozi pred uro, no? Dejansko. Koliko neumno, pred uro in pa imate tle 1 uro vmes sprej, koliko neumno je to. Dobro, sam ste pa dosti hitro končali, če tako gledaš. Recimo. Sam lahko bi bili konc že 15:1, ne, če ne bi imeli tle kar frej. Ker vedno imate 1 uro vmes sprej, kakšen je to urnik? What the fuck? Kako to imate en predmet 4 ure zapored? A so fuknani to? What je to? What do you mean? Jagoda, pozdravljam nazaj, med bizet, tebe prihvali, ljubi za Jagoda, kako si hvala 3 support? Ne vem, abi, kaj je to. To je bila malca zaradi korone. Pa je bila, dober kodnik, pa je bil korona problem, da ste imeli verjetan vse pred ure. Verjetan. Aha, to je praksa. Če, to ni slovenski luša, Ja, da hvala ti, kako si? Že, Kiki. Kaj, daj so to slabo danes? Ej, pojma nimam chat, zakaj mu gre slabo. Ne bi vedel. Daj se je 2 headshot sniper zadev. Sam sem imel une vesolce na glav, pa jih ni ubil. Te vesolce gre meni tudi full na živce, drugač full so annoying. Te parasiti. Parasiti. Tale Flownada je toliko klačova, ne? Kaj resni. Kdo je najboljši na svetu? Zaenkrat še Tyson. Tudi največ PR-ja ima od vseh, drugač. K1nzell je zdaj tretji. 5 točk za prvi mesec, tako da... Izbliz, je dropkill. Ampak kdaj je FNCS solo? Se je bil zdaj ta All-Star solo, so imeli, ampak ne vem. Kdaj bo zdaj še kaj. Vaša predura je 37, no to je boljš. K1nzell je tretji. Kaj dela Tyson? Ja, zelo slabo igrata. Ne vem zakaj, ampak ja. Ana Tyson je 41. Dvakrat sta off-spawn morala enkrat 21, 28, zelo slabo. A priporočaš proteine kot weight gain? Ne, proteini niso zato, da ti dobiš, da se ti zrediš, ampak kogarkoli. To so gainerji bolj za to. Ne, abi, ne bom. Juško je toksik. To je za B razred, A razred ima zanj 2 preduri. Ej, zakaj je to z rdečo? To dejansko zgleda, kada imate ruščino, ampak imate razredno uro. Skaj imate razredno uro za preduro, pač, kaj je to? Daj se pa že konc. Ja, dober, Juško, sam... Čak, ne. A ste že konc slučajno pol enih, ali kaj? A to sam nisi vse sliku? Če se konc že ob 12:30, to je nekak boljš model. A to odpade, aha, okej. Ne, mi nismo imeli razredne ure pred ure, nikoli. Mi smo imeli večkrat zadnjo uro. Pa smo pa neko doskrat prešli, ker ni bilo nič zadelati. Že Wi-Fi. Tyson tweet bomo pa na konc pogledali. Tam zdala. A, okej, kotnik, okej. Ne, 14-15. Dobro. Dobro. Every once, it's just once.
Within the top 3, we're talking 5 points, lads. 5 points. I mean, k1nzell Wakey was sat, like, looking good, feeling fresh in that number 1 spot. Here we are, game 4.
Take je klaču je zdaj pršel, sta pršel na prvo mest. Majster je, ki je pršel na drug mest, pač insane. Pa tam je dobil Benjija, pa misla Seža, pač insane, živo Roxy. Ej, čet, kaj se vidi na kameri? Čakajte, samo nekaj me zanima. Se vidi tisto. Ej, kaj se ne vidi. A si ni včasih tle videl? Aj, malo sem zoom inil, takrat točen. Točen, nevermind. Nevermind, hodil sem samo nekaj videti. Živo Roxy. Bomo pol Tyson. No, bom zdaj Tyson. Ne, bom, pol bomo. Mogoče smo spoilani.
How do you fight that? If you lose one game, it pushes you down a little bit. But obviously, 5 points between the top 3, that is crazy.
K1nzell tega je vedel, ja. Ne vem, kaj so vam to predur dali. Včasih smo imeli tako. Jaz sem imel samo v 4. letniku preduro, pa že to sam enkrat na teden. Sam, naša predura je bila... Naša predura je bila... A je bila 15 do 7 ali pol 7, nisem zihar. Nekaj tazga. Kaj mi smo v pol 8 začeli ure, drugač. Normalne. Pa nič tazga ni prav, Ana. Nič tazga ni, no. A se tako vsako igra tvita?
I want to kind of really kind of emphasize how hard it is to kind of do what DKS and Bad Sniper did yesterday and come top of the semi-finals. We're in the semi-finals.
Ne znam kaj hočete, da to preberem.
Today still managed to kind of
Se inač tazga.
and get victory royales remain up in the top.
User 60, rekel sem, da proteini niso kot za weight gain. Pač, mislim, pomagajo pri mišični masi, ampak
Yeah, I mean, I feel like confidence.
če ti hočeš prav weight gainat, so gainerji, ampak ne vem, koliko si star drugač.
If you
A
have a good
gainerji so bolj za to.
finals, you played very well.
A ne, da je Mongrel najboljši, a zakaj igra Mongrel več kape?
Pretty good.
Mongrel ni najboljši, ker že 2 sezoni zapored ni prišel v finale FSS-a.
They're playing very consistent and they have a shot of getting number 1.
The thing is that happens until the first game.
In Mongrel igra kape. Tam ne pride naprej.
They place 5th of 7 elims. That's a great.
Se učiš in pred ura, ali kaj? I don't understand if it's like a way for you to catch up with... Ne, Abi, razredna ura je samo zato, da se tvoj razredni učitelj, da se malo pogovori z vami, če kaj narobe dela, če je kdo bolj poreden, pa take stvari.
Game at number 5. It's coming your way very
Pa tako malo pove, a ne, kako pa kaj, z letom, pa z uram, pa ne vem, no. Skočen problem. Polade tako. I said predura, a ja! No, Abi, predura is just normal class. It's nothing else. They just put you in predura and you have to do normal stuff like you would if it wouldn't be predura. Roix, ne, se to sem imel tudi jaz, Roix, če je bilo. Pač predura, se to je predura, kva. Ripjuška. Yes, Abby. Like you have normal class. Linux, sploh mi nič nisi napisal tako za info. Linux, ne mi pisat DM, če mi nisi nič v DM napisal. Kaj dela Tyson, zelo slabo igra. Kva to gledamo? Chat, zdaj bomo šli v 5. igro. Pa pred zadnjo, že okrekar sem. Pa pred zadnjo je igra, bomo šli.
Welcome back everybody to the Dreamhack Open featuring Fortnite.
Kot ta z Nemček bom malo krajši. A se smo še prej streamali.
Just saw a pretty action.
Te govor z unim god glasom in kjer je god glas.
More games to go, Reese. I mean, anything can happen. The
Nice
leaderboard is neck to neck right now.
Ta pa verujem tkaj, ja, bil je danes pa včeraj na trovotu, ampak lej, bolj bo spet malo več. Lej, bomo videli, kako se bomo naslednji teden sploh vse zmenili. Živijo Phobos, kako si? Sam prej že. Ja, Linux, pa sem te ignoriral. To si mi bo zlo, pa nisem odpisal.
Game number 5 is ready. We're checking in with our current leaders of Flowest.
A ja, to. Ja, pač ne vem, kva si tle hotel. K1nzell se posname v lobiju tako, da je pač v lobiju je in govori in to je to. Nič posebenega. Ne vem, kaj ti tle drugače zažim. Se si sam že povedal, kako naredi.
Anything crucial.
Ok, Polk, zdaj le bom dal member only chat, ok, kaj se je začel.
Materials, get the shields, get everything they need to move
Ja.
on and continue the
Kaj zaustavlja rast? Dal, če hodiš v fitness, preden si star 16.
Every game seems absolutely.
Ja, ni slabo, sam pač moraš... Mejo vsega trenerja, da ti malo pove, kaj delati pa to, a ne?
At all. Same with Bad Sniper.
Jaz mislim, pa sem tudi že v fitness dosti malo gledal. Samo ti moraš pravilne stvari delati, da se ne zjebeš, a ne?
Everyone says you can't
Najboljše je, da imaš vsega trenerja, da ti malo razloži, pa pokaže pa to vse.
DKS has taken a lot of his shield. You can see, but look, still there. They're managed to use the cones just to completely
Nice, Juška,
block
to je
the way
nekaj
past,
dobrega.
not get
Tudi jaz sem se
absolutely
Phobos.
obliterated by the AI that's in here, and just keep moving.
Yeah,
Bravo,
I mean,
man.
that AI, it's scary.
Jaz pa
though,
ko vidim
Reese.
tebe v
Sometimes-
chatu.
sometimes
Terrifying.
It does a lot of damage. You're just wandering around in the basement, having a good time.
Tako se
looting, and
dejansko
instantly you get
izogibajo
tripled in
temu
by
botu.
the pulse rifle and you're gone. It's over. Eliminated. So, I mean, you gotta be careful. Make sure not to
Za vse res
activate
pač
that AI and then
sam
you
damage
should be
te
good to go.
preveč.
Some said it
Tega
can't
bota je
be
najtežje
done,
ubiti.
Some said it can't be done, but Bad
Ne,
Sniper
Svica,
is
ne.
proof that you can just walk right through. Instead, it's too powerful. Oh, I keep getting eliminated. No. Bad Sniper knows exactly how to do it. But once they're sitting up, they're going to just kind of position themselves right up onto that high ground very, very early because they know there's so many teams surrounding them too. But Bad Sniper, a little did you know, leads all players with 3 sniper eliminations. So,
Hey.
you know, I like to joke about
3
this.
snipe kille ima Bad Sniper, pa jih ima največ.
We used to Bad Sniper
Pa sploh
down.
ni toliko velik.
We already heard Shayo earlier on the broadcast. He was saying, you know, he used to do
Ne,
it earlier
Kotnik,
on.
ne
come
da
near
barvat
the
brade.
casting gig. I'm new around here, so I'm gonna still make the bad sniper jokes at this time. But look, we can't make them.
Jaz se mi zdi, kdorkoli lenda pa tale Holly, bo bil tako on. Pa zato pa je to dober call K1nzella pa Wakeyja. Ker pač noben ne bo kontestal pa se hotel fightati v teh zonih.
Back-to-back victory royale duo who didn't have too good of a last game, falling at 30th place and then losing their #1 spot. But I would not mind at all being in their position because they're still less than 10 points behind first place. So one good game again and they're right back.
Tyson washed Brasvican, ja.
Yeah, and I think we're gonna see it. I'm feeling it for them this
Če si
game.
14, če si splačal fitness. Ma, če si 14, ti bolj priporočam, da delaš na štangah pa z lastno težo. Ker tak ne boš dubo na en koliko mase, ko stok star. Delaš na štangah in to. Ja, svicam. Dokler rasteš, delaj na svojo težo, ma ni vedno to. Mi smo prej že delali. S fitnessom tudi. Nekje smo bili 16, smo začeli. 16-17. Pri košarki. Sam fore, da ti ne smeš pretežko dvigati pa ne in kva vse. Sam pač, kot sem rekel, posvetite se pač z drugimi. Kako pa kaj.
Of Fortnite competitive is reviewing your matches, seeing what you could have done differently. But if you're able to adapt to it in game and figure out maybe rotation changes, even loot path changes, benefit you greater depending on the lobby you're in, it can be a very good skill to have.
Indeed. Toost and Stormy right, however, managed to get that lava.
Ja, Kotnik, to je tvoj problem. Kotnik, Sanča si na blond pobaraš, brado, ti dovolim.
But moving back over to Lucian, Fire King, who are now to disengage from Kylix. And I think this is also Lechi as well. Yes, as they start to clamber in, and Kylix has the high ground, applying that pressure.
Evo te dve hluš se mora spremeniti ime. Človeška duša. Človeška duša se rab ime spremeniti.
Battling against each other here, close to Boney, close to Coral Castle. Have to be careful though, because I do see another trio getting close to them here. You can see them. They're on a boat right now at the bottom right on the mini-map.
Se to isto slabo, mislim slabo.
It's gonna end up into a...
Pač folk misle, da lahko folk bulijajo te, ki so, mislim, govorijo, o, koliko si suh pa to. To je isto, kot če enemu rečeš, o, koliko si debel. Oboje, nobeni všeč, kaj sliš.
Teams who are currently engaged in this. It's Benji Fish's team who's on the far side, just getting very easy Storm Surge tags coming in onto the ex-teammates of Matzo and Amplify, as Lucia and Fire King are gonna try and continue to disengage. And I think, despite the fact they started this so difficultly, right? They were getting pressured, they were rotating. I think they might end up actually one of the best.
I mean, yeah, 100%. But
A točno, tle še ta nov grab zone.
It's a little bit of like the high jumps. I don't know if it was with one of the hop flopper fish.
Ne, v temu zonu sta bombar, še komentator ne ve. Komentator ne ve.
To be honest, I was just looking at them fly and it was very interesting. But switching over here
O, Blaster pa Nikov bo to umrla. Ni šans, da preživita.
Very sticky situation with not a lot of health or shield to work with, to be honest.
Yeah, they look
lep pick.
so strong coming out of that first match, right? They had 7 eliminations, they placed 3rd, they looked super strong, and as the games have gone on, they've gotten kind of, their placements have gotten a little bit worse, and right now being in a sticky situation with Nikov being on such low HP, X-Squeeze, and Wildmaster so much, I don't know if they can turn this one around and keep climbing up that leaderboard. They're currently in 7th, but again,
Kaj na ti moga biti kontar? Ne, ne seri.
potentially not gonna work as the Blaster now being knocked.
Ma, Roik sam ne, pač še vedno se da, veš. Pač praviš, ful ješ, meni variant, da ne ješ dost, te se zdi ful, ampak ni. Pač ja, se to je tudi odvisno od tvojega, pač, metabolizma, ampak še vedno meni variant, da lahko dobiš gor kile. Sam pač moraš se nažirati, te se ne zdi, da velik ješ, ampak ne ješ dost. Definitivno ne. Kaj, zvok je rato dvojen.
Again, they're probably going to start falling down the leaderboard unless
A res, ali kaj, vmes je bilo, what?
pick up a big match similar to their game number 1. But Tuesday Stormy, right, are seeing some people in their home, and it's actually Kiriachi, their trio member, who ends up rotating. But as another team is left behind of Mason, they go for the beams, and I'm not sure if that's getting much damage off here as they disengage.
What a shame it would be if you ended up eliminating your trio. Wouldn't it be you're just,
so
you know, having a
sad.
good time, you just boxed up this player, absolutely peace control.
Za 5 sekund, okej.
You look at the name and it's like, oh,
Pojma nimam,
that's my
zakaj je
trio
čuden.
partner. I'm gonna get a DM soon.
Do you imagine you have to play trios with him, right? You come into the next week of FNCS, you load up, boys, we're ready to practice, and oh, they're just not happy at all throwing the Dreamhack for them. But it didn't happen this time at all for Stormy, Toos, and then obviously Kiriachi rotating out there with Pudrik on the top left. But who knows?
Ja, ne vem, če Bedo Broko na dani dosti pol, ne vem. Ja, drugač, Bedo Broko, da, je v redu, ampak odvisno tudi, koliko poješ za te obroke, a ne? Koliko kalorij pa to? Sej, meni verjem, da ti tudi ka hujšaš, je dobro, da imaš 5 obrokov na dan. Da odvisno je, kaj ješ.
Of loadout weapon-wise, so I think they'll do a great job here playing it slow.
Pač ja, enim je težje, ampak definitivno lahko dobiš gor. Če si lepo narediš en dober kriminalni urnik, pa to meni verjem, da lahko. Veliko folk je že to naredil, da se.
Constantly in and out of fights, but right now they're taking a very good one, given the huge amount of advantage they have in the materials, the good HP as well, the good positional advantage on this pinch going down, but the Storm not being that far away from them. Bench doing a great job as well of getting ahead of the Storm so we can hold them a little bit further and get more damage.
Oculus Quest. Heavy, is that the one that Moto has?
To use the inflatable just to disengage both of them, actually saying, you know what? This fight's probably not worth it. We can either rotate into Storm and maybe get Storm Surge tags them and hold them from the edge of Storm if we need to, or just focus on the rotate.
A da vidimo, Benji pa Savica prejšnja igra malo boljše odigrala, sicer je Urnik, ki je zdaj prvi v hrbat oba ubil, endgame. Kaj misliš, da je težje izkušati ali dobiti na kilogramih? To je pa čisto odvisno od posameznika. Odvisno tudi, kakšen lifestyle imaš v zvezi s prehrano. Če si ti navajan, da si sit po, ne vem, po enemu toastu, na primer, ti bo dosti težji dobiti kile, kakor zgubiti, ne? Da si pa navajan, da imaš rašiljen želodec pa to, pa da si sičele po 6 toastih, pa ti bo težko skušati. To je čisto odvisno od posameznika.
Earlier, but they're going to hit the disengage. They don't want that fighting. From Toos and Stormer, right, you typically think of these guys in earlier seasons as hyper-aggressive players, but right now, in the last few seasons, they've been playing really consistent, playing super smart, not taking these kind of deep zone engagements, just taking tags off when you can and taking smart engagements when they get big advantages off.
Je pa tudi res, da naprej sem hitre hrane fodos. Roix, vse ne rabiš ti hitre prehrane, da se zradiš. Ti še zmer moraš zdravo jesti, ne?
I also saw that Mr. Savage eliminated himself.
Pa jaz mislim, da če bi ti treniral zraven, zdaj ne vem, ne vem, a treniraš ali ne, ampak če bi ti fitnessiral zraven, bi tudi hitrejš dobil kilaže, ker bi bil tudi bolj lačen in bi lahko takoj več pojedel tudi. Definitivno.
True indeed, but look, they're still going to make that good rotate out for them. We'll hopefully check up and see if Savage gets rezzed in the Storm later on, because that could be devastating for them.
Zato, če boš ti jedel hitro prehrano, boš hotel kile dobiti, vse, kar boš ratu, je skill in fat, pa nič drugega. Prav, v bistvu si debel, sam da zgledaš suh, ampak trebuh imaš pa pač zamaščena, ne?
Looking at Benji Fishy here though, and
Ana, zakaj ne? Zato, da te kaj učimo glede tega. Zakaj se ne bi v tem menili? Mi imamo vedno dobre pogovore s returnirjev. Drugač, ja, pač, me je bilo tudi dosti težje kile gor dati, polka sem pa bil enkrat 18, 19, pa sem nehal basket igrati, šel pa kar dosti hitrej gor, no. Že Martin? Juško, če tam misliš, da kao na Ano, jaz sem izal tako na Ano, da bi bila ona debela, pa karkoli. Upam, da ni Ana tako dojela. A nisem tako mislil. Ampak nima veze, jaz si debel, suh. Ali kako je, zmer je fajn poslušati takih stvari. Ja, Limo, vsaj da vidim. Ja, najbolj, da mi file pošiljaš. Pa je ta video.
And they have an opportunity. This is where we saw them in the last game. They were doing the exact same thing, basically from this position, on a very, very similar zone to this as well. So these guys,
ja, to ni v lobby, to je v creativu.
Remember the positions they were in. They have now more materials.
Limux, to je v creativu.
11 below Storm Surge, though, so this could get a little dangerous if they're not unable to find at least one assault rifle shot, right? You need to get a bit of those tags, and in the position they in, they do have a good amount of vision on their surroundings, so...
No, Abby, I saw that it's
.mkv.
.mkv.
But if they don't, it could get risky quite quickly. Also, I want to take a peek at how many players are alive. 75, so 5 players have to get eliminated. 3 players now.
To se K1nzell snemal v kreativu in pol je šel v replay in je posnel, a ne? V kreativ je šel in moto je in pol je šel v replay pa posnel.
Down now, and that might be it for them in this match.
A če hočeš skušati, moraš spucati eno brok ali pa jaz manj. Vse, kar je fora pri hujšanju, je, da imaš ti calorie deficit, kar pomeni, da zaužijaš manj kalorij, kot jih porabiš. Tako skušaš. Zdaj pa imaš več različnih tehnik, diete. Jaz sicer ne zagovarjam za diete, zdaj boš do nekaj spremeniš, kaj ti bo lifestyle, da to ohranaš, da ti ni problema imeti. Recimo, meni osebno je ful pomagal, pa mi je bilo čisto mod, da sem 16 ur nisem jedel, pa sem pa v okviru 8 ur jedel, a ne? Da sem lahko več stvari poročal, ampak to ni za vse. Pa tudi ne priporočam temu drugim, sploh če ste mlajši. Potem, eni še vedno imajo 5 obrokov, ampak imajo manj kalorij v teh obrokih. Ne vem, recimo, ko imajo riž pa maso, recimo nimajo ene omake zraven, ki da doda ful brezveznih kalorij. Daš stran te pijače, ki niso, če že piješ kakšno sladkava pijača, pij zero, a ne? Zato, ker ne dobiš od tega kalorij. Pač calorie deficit moraš imeti. Ej, uživaj face flaška. Kaj, te sem jo umoril, nisem videl, Jari.
Leaving Lechi as a solo, and he's just going to run back into Storm because he has that slurp cannon, so he's going to sit back and try to use as much as possible, but how is he going to get out of this situation for Lechi? I don't think he's going to be able to.
Mislim, cilj. Sej, če hočeš skušati, imaš vedno cilj, ali?
Look at that, actually. Gets an opponent. Now Lechi is in between 2 different duos, literally sandwiched. However, Zone does close forward, so they're going to have to make a rotation, and when that happens, they're going to see Lechi as a solo, and they're going to most likely want to hold him. So he has to figure out some sort of way to get the zone, but also get the zone without getting himself into a 1 versus 2 engagement. So I'm looking forward to see how he does that. But take a look now, K1nzell, Wakey look like they might have a shot of playing another end game here now, as they are positioned well on a high elevation. They have 4 peppers for mobility, they have shields, weapons, ammunition, everything they need to play out this end game.
Memoralni je zdaj, ja, zato da folk ne likam. Ajde, pogremo do 700 lajkov. Pa ne pozabimo, tako da je ScorpLZ v item shop, kaj kupite s temi folk pomagate, tako da hvala vam, hvala.
All of Cami on the left hand side as well. All of these teams who have to rotate in through their sight lines are in such a difficult spot. And given that they are very good positioned in this 3rd zone too, they're going to be fine, right? That next zone pulls, even if it pulls max distance northeast of them, they're in such a good spot in particular, given their vertical elevation too. And look at Benji still on that far west side there. We've got Crizzy Saved down below, very close to X-Squeeze and one last team.
K1nzell pa Wakey, rabta zdajle nujno boljš odigrati. Koliko tega sta prva, on floor, ne vem kva je, ne vem kdo je drug sploh. Kdo je drug chat? Ampak 5 pik sta samo zdaj, morata dobro odigrati zdaj v glavnem.
Trying to do what they can to not tank Storm, not get focused by the other duos who already have a better position than them, and so far they're looking good. However, if the zone closes far, they're gonna have to make a big rotate, and if they don't have a good option for that and not a lot of mobility items, be it peppers, pads, even having parasites on them, it could be difficult.
And that's a tough one for them. For in particular,
Kotni, kot prvo jaz pa solate ne jem, kot drugo, najbolj da majonezo uporabljam.
And they have to pull fully north. There's your prediction up there next to his teammate, who may be in the storm. If my
A to sem ti že odgovoril, ne rabiš copy-pastati.
I'd like to see that too. I mean, if they get a very, very big game, I'm talking 10+ elimination victory royale, they'll be back up on the leaderboard. And if they get some nice little zones, so look, here's what I'm looking at, Reese. They're on the east side of the hill.
Go rotation z autom.
They're positioned right on the elevation. They pull 5th zone.
Tako sta šla ven. A se sta že v zonu.
They pull first moving. Then they pull second moving back through.
Aha, te dva sta v spredi, mislim, da. Te dva sta pred K1nzellom pa Wakeyem, ja še.
That's what I like to see. I mean, they are now, given this 4th zone, in the best spot. So, you know, theoretically, it is their game to win right now, given the zone positionings where they are. Actually, Tiego's team is a little bit better, but we'll get...
Kaj misliš, a je boljš, da si suhal ali si debel? Da si suh je boljš, dokler nisi anoreksičen je suh biti boljš. Ker imaš več, pač če si debel, imaš več problemov, a ne zdravstvenih, kot če si suh. Če si suh, pač lih nimaš problemov, no. Razen če si anoreksičen, to je pa drugo.
Wakey has also only used one mini since the last
Pa da
time
svica
we've
nabija.
gone, so he did this rotation quite successfully. Actually used the big
Bolje
pot
je
as
god.
well, but I mean they still have a good amount of shields. He's Nate there, 1 of 41 above. That's a little bit in the danger
Ajmo,
zone.
Wakey ima K1nzell, rabta kažem kill. Kill je vreden 6 pik, ajmo, no.
Above the threshold, however, it
A sta
could
ga one
change
dva dubla?
quickly, so you
Benji
don't
ga je
want to
dubo.
damage there.
Ne, to je bil
If he
Nate.
manages to
Kdo je
finish
dubo
off
Natea?
Nate, that'd be great. Now, once
Delay je levo gori. K1nzell je dubo Natea, let's go. To je 6 točk gor. To je 6 točk gor. O ne, sam jih sprejajo.
Could be a gas can, it could be a boat shooting at him, but he gets eliminated. What just happened, Reese?
That looked like a boat to me, given the fact that it blew up the metal instantly, but that could have been multiple gas cans given the fire damage just still left down below, and that's just completely
Kva si ima tle zgodil, model, what?
Leaving K1nzell now as a solo
Pa je to.
for a player for a team who's on
Dobar, dubla sta en kill, kar pomeni, da sta s tem enim killom, sta one dva na prvem mestu, če noben drug tim še ni dubo točk. Top 21 začnejo placementi.
A Dreamhack solo player to clutch up right now. It's gonna be K1nzell, let's be real.
Po mojem je dobro, da se on medkita, ali?
I wanna see it too. I wanna see it too.
Ajmo K1nzell klač, ajmo K1nzell klač.
As he goes down when they already have
Benji obaru.
275 points, but look, KNZL has the launch pad, 6 minis, medkit.
Ne, Juško, ker vem, zakaj folku ni všeč poli. Pa tudi vem, kako je, če ti nekaj ni všeč, pač nekaj ti pač ni všeč. Jaz volim maram folka skozi gori. Ja, pa kako ne moreš tega jesti? To najboljš da tega ne ješ. Ne zastopam. Saj to je sam hrana, to lahko poješ. Ne, to govoriti ljudem, ki ne jejo veliko. Naprimer mene.
One of three zones that you're looking for as we see all the players are down.
Boba, se ti raš vsaj, ti imaš tudi zelenjavo, ki ima beljakovine noter.
The solo player trying to make a ramp up. He had all those old materials and he finds a launch pad to get into Storm as well. He doesn't have any
Ajde K1nzell, klačaš tole.
any AR right now. He's going to
O, ne ga sprejat.
Potentially these players start to notice, the KPI duo start to notice that he is a solo and he's going to try to expand, do anything he can to relinquish that pressure.
Interesting note as well. You can see at the bottom right of the screen here where
Tako, Ana,
KNZL is looking.
tako.
You have LG Joji, who's Reet's duo. You can see Reet there as well, coming from NA West, playing on over 120 ping, qualifying to the European
Sam
Dreamhack
res,
Finals. It's very
Rit je celo
impressive.
NA West, jaz mislim, da je on
First
NA
time
East, to je
we're
še
seeing him in
slabši
NBA.
model.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely big from them. Be interested to see what they can do. I think Georgie's playing on
Živijo
East
trojza,
every
jo.
time, whereas we have West for Reet in particular, which is crazy.
Ajde, K1nzell, imaš ta klač. Jaz ne vem, jaz bi se na njegovem mestu maybe medkitu.
I think 100 is doable, right? You play a ping on, I play any East.
Ker zdaj nima niti
doable,
150
right?
healtha,
You
kar je kar
understand
slaba.
Your mechanics still work. As soon as you get to 120, 130, 140,
Ima še M5, kar je dober.
Like any West, for example, so the same situation that Reet is playing on.
K1nzell
it's
lahko še klača
unmanageable
tole.
almost, but just completely can.
Pa pa sam še ena igra. Zdaj mora K1nzell čim bolj tako narediti, da sta čim bližji prvemu mestu, če nista prva, ne?
With that
Zelo zadnjo zmagata.
and even on a very competitive, I mean, let alone
Wow,
the most
Koznik.
competitive region, EU, that's incredibly impressive. So I want to see if they can do a pop-off game here. If they can make
Ugh.
something happen, you know, that would be very interesting.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the main difference is that I suck, right?
Čakaj, lih kar dubo kill.
They really don't. They're some of the best players.
Njegov duo, yep. Plus 6 točk. Sta te dva zdaj še dubla.
To reuse the launch pad. This is going to be it for them. These guys need to get
Ko K1nzell definitivno ni prvo zdala. Pa ta dva zdaj 2 killa, pa sta bila prej 1 točko pred K1nzellom. K1nzell mora zdaj full klačati, nisem ziher, da sem ga videl levo gor, ali ne.
Have their own launch pad in their inventory. Given the fact that they actually managed to reuse that one there.
O ja, K1nzell je še živ, god.
KNZL's also still alive as a solo.
K1nzell je še živ.
65 builds to work with, still has a launch pad. Looks like he's going to make a medkit play here to a short pad, which is
O,
exactly
ajde,
what he's
K1nzell,
doing here,
klačaš to.
getting into zone. Still has a decent amount of materials, but soon is
K1nzell
gonna have to
klača
look for
to.
a refresh, most likely in this next second moving zone.
gonna have to. He's getting ahead of his zone now.
Chat, imagine da K1nzell tole klača.
Behind him at the same time, but unfortunately no shots are going to be traded back onto him. He's just going to solidify himself on that layer now again.
Tale je čisto, lahko ga dobi K1nzell.
Onto him, Jack on 100 ping playing from the NA East region, so K1nzell will be able to get those walls if he goes onto them.
On ni mogel. O, tle sta duo. Oh, God! God K1nzell. God K1nzell.
Jack gets annihilated there.
Pač vsak kill je zdaj ful bolj vreden kot placement dejansko. Ker kill je res 6 točk na kill. Je zelo insane.
237 would work with, but be careful. You've got a player trying to get into his box here, but now as
Ima še 220 buildov.
ways to go. But meanwhile, K1nzell and
K1nzell God?
high ground as they've pulled the zone. What is going on right now, Reese?
Your predictions are coming through this game. I think we've cyclically predicted it. Next will kick away.
O, K1nzell ga bo straglo. Ne, ni dobil killa K1nzell.
Still alive as a solo now down to 0 builds remaining to.
God! God K1nzell! God K1nzell! K1nzell je God. Zakaj K1nzell tako ne igra na fucking FNCS-u? Zakaj? Zakaj ima vedno Dreamhack pop-upa? Mislim, se tudi to je dober, ampak... K1nzell je God. Zdaj je res klača. O, K1nzell je low. Ne, skor ga je ubil. Top 10, dober. To je bil insane klač za solo. Insane clutch za solo.
But meanwhile, Paco and Cammy are looking to be second high, going for some eliminations.
Jo, tu smo tasta še živa, kar je slabo. Koliko je imel pik chat K1nzell? Na konc. Lahko noč ni muks. Opo, pač si sem rekel. Čim več je. Ena zdaj jest pač ne zdraja hrana.
10 players. They either battle the duo below or battle the duo above as Tus goes directly into
tu se še tole malo preveč lotara. To je dobro. Ta še vedno, Stormy še vedno živ.
Zero materials to work with. He does have the chug cannon though. Gets a beam onto an opponent. They're going to try and get into the box. Will be able to get the elimination here. He's not able to get in. 7 HP gets eliminated. Inflatable getting popped. Now Cammy, Paco, Krizian save it on the low ground. Meanwhile,
Upam da je K1nzell 316. To pa ni dober, to pa ni dober. To ni dober. Zadnji game morata zmagati pa dobro odigrati.
And now it looks like it's a 1 versus 2. This is looking like it's K1nzell and set a Nexus game to win with 104 points, dropping down, getting the pump shot.
Dajte GG v chat, K1nzell je zelo dober klačil. Sicer ne dovolj, ampak še vedno je zelo dober klačil. Da vidimo, koliko sta zdela v zadnji, za zadnjo igro. Sam še ena igra je chat, sam še ena igra. Ok, dos je klačil chat, ok, druga sta. Dobar je klačil, ampak Stormy Ride pa tu sta zdaj dobro igrala. Imela sta 7 kilo, kar je, to da sta 7 kilo je bilo insane, ne? Zdaj je pač, vse to ni velik točk, a ne, zdaj je tale razlika. Definitivno ne. To so 3 kili, bolj ko ne. Tako da... Zna biti kar, no. Tale bo zelo težka. Juško, ne vem, če jih še nimaš, pol jih ne boš dobil. K1nzell je tole zelo god klačil. Chat, to ni slovenski luša, to ni ta luša, to ni... Tyson gre zelo slabo, chat. Benji 15. To, da igra sta spet slabo odigrala. Tyson je bil prej 41. Zdaj je 42. Lejte to, chat. Ne vem, kaj one dva delata. Ne zastopam. Ne vem, kaj se ima dogaja, res mi ni jasen. Res mi ni jasen. S kjermu brandom je Fortnite prvi collab naredil? A ni bil Marvel? Ko so naredili unke, je bil Thanos mod. A ne? Al? Mislim, da je bil Marvel. Tako je. Kaj, Kriz je imel 0 pik do tega gamea? A res? Te že kva naj povem? What? Pa za kva ne povem? Aja, ker je... Ja, rip. Katere slušalke priporočaš? Do 100 evrov. Do 100 evrov priporočam HyperX Cloud 2. Zmenja, Juška, ti sam prid. Čaj, kaj je bil drug vprašanje, nisem videl. Which one is the most wildcat breed? Ja, kako naj to vem? Ker je najmanjši wildcat maček. Danka Talinič, naročil PC. Noise. Lepa, lepa. A proteini lahko škodujejo? Ne, chat. Vi, kaj jeste meso, jeste proteine. Če ti vzameš proteine posebej, pač proteini so enako beljakovine. Ja? In če ti ješ meso, ti zaužijaš beljakovine oziroma proteine, če tako gledaš. In se pravi, to, kot ti misliš proteini, ne, niso škodljivi. Seveda je najboljše, da ti s hrano dobiš dost proteinov, ampak če ti rabiš ekstra, recimo jaz rabam ekstra, ker fuma proteinov tako zaužijam, pol pojem to, a ne? Tako da proteini niso škodljivi. Jutr, valjda tako valamo, jutr, imamo to. To sem videl, S-Gamer. No, Abby, no. Well, yeah, Abby. A protein can't be bad. Tyson ima nov trio. Ne, kje ste to zdaj slišali, da ima Tyson nov trio? Če, to so duoti tukaj, to je duo. Zdaj bomo šli na zadnjo igro. K1nzell je v zadnji za cca 20 točk. To so 3 kili. 1 kill je 6 točk, ja? Tako da vse se še da. Pomoč je zmagata. Če zdaj le Wakey ne bi tam umrl. Bi zmagala. Bi sem zmagala. Imela veliko točk. Ta tle, ki ga je. Ja.
One thing that's very apparent right now, despite all the brilliant Fortnite action, is that we actually have a...
Nice, Wakey, nice. Tyson je 42. Tyson zelo slabo igra danes. Teda, vsi, ki so danes v finalu dobijo denar, ali ne, drugače, kdo ve? Mislim, načeloma bi lahko pogledal, a ne? Aha, vsi, garantirano imajo 250. Ja, geza se Tysonu gre, da pride na top 35, da dobi vsaj malo več, mislim. Dost več se že pozna.
Yeah, the 900 IQ prediction, but also a little bit of zone luck. You know, they did pull 3 zones back to back, which is a bit helpful in the end game, but also you have to be able to know how to play those zones. If you do anything too risky, trying to get height when it's getting too contested, you might get...
O kateri uri je jutar FNCS? Ob 7 je chat. Jutar je ob 7 FNCS. A, sam reč, čaki, ki je Denotes.
And that's what really matters, right? If you're gifted a little bit, right? If you get some of the good RNG, the top players will be the players who manage to capitalize on that good RNG, right? It's not just the players who will get good RNG. If you're like me, come on. If you're like me, you get true of me, you get that kind of RNG, like you're out.
Trio Cup je z enima drugima igral. Ja, Rok sam ni imenil. Kdaj je igral? V ponedeljka kaj? Kako je igral Trio Cup z enima drugima, če so igrali oni v ponedeljek, pa so slabo igrali, kolikor jaz vem.
Yeah, I think what's really
Whoa, monkey. Whoa.
Is keeping tracks of the leaderboards and who was out there in the vicinity in the kind of the...
Ne vem, nikoli nisem vložil teh proslušalk, tako da ti ne znam povedati. Messi ali Ronaldo. Oblak. Najjači. Kvizi pa X8? Ne, drugač niso zamenjali. Kvizi pa, sploh pa Kvizi je že v finalu. Sam tako so igrali, ne vem zakaj, ampak... Že lepi alt. 19 točk, ja. K1nzell pa Wakey imata še vso šanso zdajle. Vso šanso.
23 elims, 24, 24, right? They clearly have a roughly the same playstyle, but DKS and Bad Sniper in particular, from that last game going down in 13th, they didn't manage to get as many points, right? So they've slipped behind a little bit, whereas we saw Stormy...
Ne sprašuj, Luka, account za... Pa, če ima kakšen account za FNCS, ne vem, kva to sploh pomeni. Scorp je noob. Zdaj mi folk že pravi, da sem noob, ko gledam Dreamhack. Nice. Torej sem pa kar potrudil, da se spomnim napisati. Aj, folk, stisnite like, če še niste, ko še ni 800 lajkov. Ni mogel biti že Jurija, čaj, včasih smo tole že Jurija lajkov na takih številkah. Halo? Halo?
Maybe won them. We'll see how the next game goes. Won the entire tournament, but even maybe got a top 3.
You can see as well.
Koliko dobita prvi? Prvi pa dobi
61 points now off of top.
11.500. Pa to je mislim na playerja, to je na playerja. 11.500. Ni bad, chat. Ni bad. To je zelo dober denarček.
Are we looking at 3 different duos? Is that what this comes down to now?
I mean, anything's possible, Adam, because imagine if some of these
Portland muska so najjače.
which is in the number 4th spot right now, has a chance. It really depends on how
Ok, Grizi se bom delal, tega nisem prebral. Tyson gre zelo slabo, če danes, nažalost. Ne vem zakaj. Ne vem zakaj.
Big game, so we'll have to see how they do here, but I'd love to see K1nzell and Wakey get a good game here, seeing that clutch that K1nzell just had in this last match.
Yeah, it's a good storyline. It's a good storyline to do, but look, I don't think 4th's out of it by any means for when we're talking about first, because the highest amount of points that we've seen so far from a game, there's been 2. I think what DKS and Bad Sniper had 8 eliminations where they got 103 points. So yeah, they're behind a little
Pa ste series Arctis 3. Ej, Bevin, za teba pogled, če sem naredil review, ampak drugače čamo za Arctis šalke, sem bil z vsemi zadovoljen, no. A se mi zdi, da je Cloud 2 na ceno, pa to so res top. Tyson ali Buga? Tyson. Pač Tyson je enostavno najboljši za enkrat chat na svetu, ker je največ naredil. Edino, kar nima, je World Cup. Ampak, ko je, kaj tudi zdaj ni bilo dolgo. God, ajno, lost bereš, a ti plačajo na PayPal ali na kartica direkt. Tyson gre s tabo, ki je na bootcamp, pa vsi strmijo v njega. Ma ne, če so dobro tudi igrali uneta druge. Sam, mislim, jaz osebno ne bi rad igral na bootcampu, no, ampak ja. Na temu bootcampu je sam Tyson ali je tudi njegov trio tam chat? A kdo ve? Ko smo, super smo. Ali cena wireless? Hočeš wireless, so dobre, ja, bine. Tyson tudi nima solo cash cup first. Tyson je zmagal solo cash cup, kakor jaz vem, lih pred kratkim, a ni? Dejansko je enega zmagal, kar jaz vem. Ampak gremo već za majstori FNCS, Pohanih je zmagal. K1nzell je Slovenc, ja. Kaj, Aveno je tam tudi. Kak camp je to? Ne vem, za team building pa to. Nice.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Dreamhack Open featuring Fortnite. Tokata here alongside Reese, and I mean,
Chat, kaj mi je en lihka napisal? En je napisal, tale, Bumbo Lumba Banana. Scorp je klošar brez las, ker so mu jih rakuni verjetno ukradali. Kaj? Eni so mi res smešni. K1nzell ima vedno dober, K1nzell vedno Dreamhack zelo dober igra, res je. Ne, Tyson ima drugač največ earningov, ne, mislim največ, Buga jih ima največ, ampak tako. Tyson ima definitivno več earningov, kot K1nzell, če me vprašaš.
the south antenna.
Zaradi teh FNCS-ov, ki so najbolj plačani.
So good.
Aj, inače, grem jaz, a member only
chat
chatat.
Quickly. That's the good part about being uncontested. You can follow a loot path, loot everything as quick as possible, and start your rotation to the zone before many of the duos who are contested have to get into these early game engagements.
100%.
Ne, Ingrid si ne vem,
35 points, but our second place team of K1nzell
Koliko stane tvoj podpis na čelo? Ja, na čelo je 2 milijona
These
vreden.
guys are currently 19
Na čelo se ti
points
za 100
behind,
podpišem.
so they are a little bit of a disadvantage coming into this game, but at the same time, they're all in the exact same setup as they have been every game. No teams have switched up their drop spots. Ooh, but a big switch up for our third place team. DKS and Bad Sniper.
Te dva ne smeta tle zmagati. Ja, rip. Te dva sta tretja. Sta dubla zdaj 2 kila.
Off the rip. Now, hopefully, Bad Sniper's going to have to get the reboot off the DKS, and the fact that they're right next to the reboot van is so good.
Rip.
I mean, that just shows how quickly the
Une duo jih zna
tables
pušat
can
tam
turn
levo.
Bad Sniper
Ja,
and DKS
pušajo,
get
pušajo.
eliminated now. That's a 0-point game. They're out of the game, top 3, not anymore, but fortunately enough, Bad Sniper was able to clutch that up, get both eliminations, get the reboot on to his partner, and this is very good for them now with 12 extra points, not a worry of being contested, have more time to loot, farm, get everything they need, so that was a very big battle they just won.
A ja, une dosta kar dipala zdaj, sploh nista
I
šla
actually
pušat.
thought they were going to be pushed on the map because
Dončić
there's another
Gogi.
team in that kind of bottom position there.
Pa če vidiš, kdo je boljši, je
It
Dončić
looked like they
boljši.
were going to be pushing the reboot, which
Pa
would
Dončić
have been a
je...
really good play actually for them, even just to get
Dončić
some
je
tags
next
off the
superstar,
storm
če ne bom imel poškodb pa tega.
One of the biggest points, one of the most
Oziroma že tako, on je že
things
toliko
about
naredil v
that is the
NBA-ju,
fact that now
po kom je
Bad
začel
Sniper and
igrati.
DKS
Se je že
are
dobil
on
knock, nice.
318,
Oziroma
whereas
kill.
K1nzell Wakey, remember, they're on 316. So now Bad Sniper and DKS have a 2-point lead. So if they end up getting eliminated at roughly the same time, those 2 points would be absolutely massive for the leaderboard.
Je bi napisal, Tyson ima 500 evrov, nego K1nzell 200 evrov.
What happens here shortly, but taking a look at Wakey and K1nzell, who have not only Holly uncontested, but also Vikings behind. So they have an incredible amount of loot just for them. And not only that, they've got shields, they've got a lot of materials they can farm. They have metal at Vikings, they have wood and brick at Holly. They have everything they really need. I wonder kind of what their path has been to get Storm Surge, because I am not sure how many times they've been getting into the end game with a lot of eliminations versus some tags from afar, but actually just finding a path there.
Pač K1nzell pa Wakey rabta zdajle nujno dobro odigrati. Oba bi živa endgame.
Or third zones or anything like that, but usually what we've seen so far is that K1nzell Wakey are getting near that Zate Hill, just kind of near to risky reels area and getting positioned up there, and realistically being on the edge of the rotate. Definitely risky, but they're putting themselves near other players in that congested side of the zones so they can get as many tags as possible. It is risky by any means, but given they've been max northeast zones multiple times, it's not like they'd have a huge other option, right? They'd have to rotate way earlier if they needed to get into a better spot, which, you know what, it's just not been their plan.
Te da sta prva, ne? Če se ne motam.
Sta,
ne? Ne, čakaj, sta one dva prva? Ne, ja.
Almost looks like a piranha or a fish there swimming through the slurpy swamp. Looked a little scary. I'd be backing off if I saw that swimming through slurpy while I was in a match, but looks like
they have this side of the map. Sam, ni tako, da K1nzell ni šel na gimnazijo. Kako si lahko zlati maturan, če nisi na gimnaziji? A ni on poklicno maturo delal? Poklicno maturo ima tudi zlati maturante, what? Vem, da je dober pisal maturo, zelo dober. To vem.
Where they went, because usually those teams would rotate over here to the west and grab the small amount of chests. I think it's 5 or 6 chests in here. There's some slurp barrels if you've not already got them, which you can get at the.
Tyson ima največ PR-ja, res
I'm
je.
trying to wonder what their rotation path was, because they'd usually be able to claim that. Now, usually from Slurpee, we do see Kiriachi and Toos and
Pa še fora, da je tracker je on tam
trios in
gor.
particular, and that duo and the trio in whatever game mode move over here to loot that, usually in trio modes, and now obviously you can see them doing it in duos.
Tyson
too, but
lahko
it's up to
vsem
question what
reče
the
PR
team on the
check.
south was doing in that position.
S kjerkoli igra.
Match.
Yeah, I also love how we're seeing the inflatable being used to improve your loot path. You can move around your drop spots so much quicker if you have one of these inflatable bulls, and it really speeds up the time it takes to get your full loadout, to get all the buildings, all the chests looted at your drop spot, and even opens up an opportunity to loot some chests or maybe even little buildings that are a little further out from your drop spot if you can get there quickly and get it looted quickly. So I like that change we've kind of seen in the Fortnite competitive environment with these new items.
Yeah, and what you got to remember is 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds off your looting path is absolutely critical. Because imagine if you had an extra 30 seconds to rotate ahead of teams, rather than being, remember Lechi in that last game along with Kylix.
Zdaj govorijo, koliko je pač, koliko hitrejš lahko s kravom luta, že to full insane. In koliko ti to lahko pomaga, bi 20 sekund hitrejš rotirati. Samo je, to zdaj vsi delajo, ne? Pa je spet isto, če tako gledaš. Vsi lahko prej to naredijo.
To rotate as quickly as you can, using the parasites that we're seeing Fire King and Lucia take right now, all these very small little details, in particular also using the car to rotate, add up big time when it comes to your efficiency overall and your positioning.
K1nzell bo zdaj hodil v službo, ali bo sam nadaljeval s Fortom do konca? Ma, K1nzell se ne splača zdaj v službo hodil, definitivno ne. Ker več dobi od Forta. Pa če bo začel službo hoditi, ne bo v moje toliko performal v Fortu. Mislim, ne bi. Je pa res, da K1nzell bi mogel z nujno streamati. Če bi K1nzell streamal, bi bilo veliko bolj za njega, nikoli ne bravo delati po moje. Tako da je malo za zajebo, ker nikoli ni streamal. Višina, to sta že 100krat rekla.
Indeed, and look, we saw DKS, we saw Bad Sniper fighting earlier in that early game, right? It was a close one. They took a lot of damage there, but they
ja, pač Juško, ni šans, da je K1nzell samo 48 ur dobil drugače. Ni
finally a
šans.
south zone, right? We've mentioned this a lot, that these zones are continually pulling to the north, which has previously benefited them in their positioning, especially since they were contested. They got the Storm Surge there and then just rotated a little bit north. Those games have been a little bit easier for them in this early and mid. Now, south zone.
Me vas zanima, K1nzell pa Tyson rabita imeti SP-tov, verjetno rabita imeti SP-a, ne? Chat, če ona do tog slišla.
Mid games are one of the most important and crucial parts of these tournaments, but be careful as Bad Sniper gets crashed into by Luis and his duo, and they're kind of hesitant on what they should do there, but it seems they've gotten out. It seems they don't know if they want to fight this, if they want to keep rotating, what really the play is right now.
I'm glad they dipped. I'm glad they managed to get out there. They
Well,
came
Abby,
to
what
a
else can they
gentleman's
do
agreement just to disengage each without even shooting, which is good, right? When you have that far zone, everyone's clearly Caster's team set up as well, right? You see Bad Sniper's team has the pad. They already have the elimination. They don't need to do anything right now. The fact that they just decided to both rotate was an extremely smart play, right? DKS, Bad Sniper know what they need to do to be able to win the tournament, and that's what they're trying to do.
Bad Sniper sme dobro igrati, pa tu
stut
ne smejo dobro igrati.
Start spraying, but they're being careful. They're being slow. They are playing to win.
Na nuni, eno smo skupaj, eno smo izenačeni.
They have such a big opportunity to get first place, especially seeing that they already have 2 eliminations. That means Storm Surge checked off the list. They have enough damage done for at least until they get the 5th zone. So they're feeling good on that sense. They have shields, they have weapons, they have mobility even, they have a launch pad, maybe even more than one. So they have everything they need. But taking a look here at K1nzell and
Ne zdaj trovat, ajde, Wakey ima 2 launchpada, Epic pump, loot mata dobar, ajde.
Taking shots, receiving shots,
Ajde,
and they're
mata
not
to.
even in zone yet.
Yeah, this is one of the worst places you can be held as well, because teams on the south side of the water will box up on those hills and they will just tag. That's one of the best Storm Surge spots for a south
Zove tega
zone.
dole, gledaj po moje, zato da ima več helta K1nzell, ker je dober kol, I guess.
Any longer, this could be really, really bad for them. Hopefully that team who is trying to hold them, you can see them in their map.
Se to Juško, se to ti pravim. Kakšne imaš ti to teammate?
We see Wakey and K1nzell knowing that the speed of their rotate is the priority now. So
well, Abby, probably their parents have something then, you know?
Which is always so difficult.
100%.
The earlier, the better.
And that is how it is in Fortnite competitive.
But I don't know. Čekaj, kako moraš biti star da imaš lahko SP?
It will turn out, but be careful there as K1nzell takes a sniper rifle shot, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been a headshot from a very powerful assault rifle, but that looked like a snipe, and that is something you want to be very careful about, especially in this
I mean, they're
last
definitely
game.
not
So
doing
do end up
anything
getting
dodgy because it would be
headshots
too
sniped,
obvious,
that could be
you know?
the end of your tournament.
Man, there is no worse way to end a potential tournament win than to have one of your teammates be sniped.
Tu pa Stormy rapta umret čim prej.
You don't want to take, but
Pa God loot mata, pa velik mecov.
Are the only duo with 3+ eliminations every single game. And that just shows out for their consistency. And look, they're first. So does that surprise you at all?
Not at all, Reese. You can, I mean, you can tell with the loot they have, the position they're in now, and seeing that they're in first place. I mean, they're playing these matches for the end game. Even looking at them now, 0 eliminations, right? They don't have a team contesting them. All these eliminations they're getting are either at the 5th zone, maybe a little before for a refresh, or in the end game, right? During these moving zones. So they're consistently getting to the moving zones, securing as much placement as they can, and also securing eliminations and refreshes during these matches, and that's exactly what you have to do, is keep that consistency up if you want to get first place.
Fox, igrao do 800 lajkov.
And what's interesting
Če pridemo do 1000 lajkov do konca te igre, K1nzell zmaga 100%. 100%.
This is where teams
Če uporabite kodo ScorpLZ v item shopu, ste legenda. Pa vsaj, ko uporabite kodo ScorpLZ, hvala vam. In kaj boste, sploh ko bo nova sezona.
This is the spot that if you'd seen K1nzell and Wakey try to rotate south there, they would have been held by our top team. Our top team is so experienced, they know exactly the best spots on these kind of zones to be sitting in, to be rotating to get the storm surge. You can tell these guys are absolute veterans.
Yeah, I mean, they do it all correctly here. Another duo that has been doing it very well is Bad Sniper and DKS, who are also in a great position here, elevated on top of kind of little hill, you could say, and they have a good vision onto the duos that are coming around the lazy side of the map, the duos that are driving through the road in a vehicle, and they have a good chance of getting tags if they need to. They're pretty centered zones, so the rotation shouldn't be too hard for them if they don't get very unlucky with zones. And they have even, I mean, you see some lettuce in his inventory, shield, mobility, inflatable. They're looking good.
It's a good spot. Storm Surge isn't going to take. There's 70 players still remaining for Siberia.
Nice,
obviously one of their top 3 teams. One of the teams you really need to focus on. And right now, Fallnet, this is not the position you want to be in. You got to remember, all of the zones that start to pull south further past this, you have to rotate past that water, and you're going to be held. So all the teams right now, we see Benji up there,
you've got to rotate past that water.
All the teams on the north side are in real danger if that next zone starts to pull
what's his accent?
South, and it actually
that sounds really weird.
To the east.
He said it.
So for K1nzell and Wakey, this is one of the worst ways it could pull. And K1nzell has a history of not having good zones. When he was landing in Coral Castle, it was a kind of classic that every zone would pull in this direction, and it would be almost
K1nzell pa Wakey spet nima ta zona, spet ima ta najdaljši zon.
This is actually, I think, the worst zone K1nzell could have pulled. Full east on the opposite side. If he tries going towards the right, there's people holding him on Spire, on Bridge, on Misty side of the map on the hills. If he tries going left, Benji, Fishy, Savage are there. There's other teams on the opposite from the Spire team. If he tries swimming through the middle, he's also going to get tagged. I mean, he does not have a lot of options. He's going to lose shield, and he's going to lose mats in this rotate.
Scottish,
he has the launch pads as inventory, but realistically, you do not want to be having to use a launch pad this early. In particular, when K1nzell doesn't even have a big pot either. He doesn't have a big to his name, but
yes! Flonada je mrtvu. A ja, oni nisu bili prvi, ana? Oni su bili prej. Da, nima vize, evo sen.
Flowis and Trippern are now picked up, so that's then stuck on 274
okay, to je nice.
So
Blizzard četvrti, ali kjer se ne.
potentially could be able to overtake them if they're still in this game. Maestro and Styler also could. Paco and Kamikut are below that. Potentially, if they have a really big game.
Kotnik zakaj. Ne, Kotnik Melsa. Zdaj bi folk spet pač kupoval, pa prodaje stvari, kada blok trade, pa tega oni
like the top 3 trios are going to be battling it out for this #1 spot here with more than 300 points on all the top 3 duos here. So as Zone has closed, we can see it now, a little better look of it on the mini-map. Bad Sniper, DKS in a great position currently, and they're even looking good for the next possible zone. So hopefully if they get a bit of luck, this could be a big end game for them.
Yeah, I think DKS and Bad Sniper are in the best position out of all of our top 3 teams
right now. Zdaj najslabši rotation, ne? Luz pa Luša sta že, ne Luša, Luz pa Stormy sta že v zonu, potem K1nzell.
They are luckily just away from it because all
nice
the players are pushed into Misty Meadows, but at the same time, they are in a dangerous spot. And that's just what's going to happen when you're at a POI, right? These POIs always attract so many people to harvest out the buildings, get their materials back. But the problem is that creates so much congestion. Then you see this next zone, the 3rd zone is pulled a little bit away, and it's just dragged everyone to the edge.
But there's a lot
of eliminations if this 4th zone pulls completely to the northeast, is far away from this, because all these players are going to be scuffed.
If If it does pull to the northeast, though, that is going
O,
to be
Veki pa Kinzel sta že v zonu, o, nisem vedel, nice, to je dobar, to je dobar. Dejansko mi je rata prijeta zona.
Around them, they should be able to
Zizar
rotate
Kinzel
early
nima biga.
before all of these teams that are stuck in Misty make the rotation, and they'll be able to hold duos.
Nujna
They
rapta
won't be
killa,
able
one
to-
dva,
or they won't
nujna.
have to use as much materials and shield to get the zone, so
Zaradi tega
it
kotnik, ker v
really
Rocket
is gonna
Ligu
show
imaš itak
something in
cel
the next
un,
5 seconds
oziroma
when
ne
this
sam
zone
Rocket,
closes
imaš
and the
tudi
next one
tako, imaš
appears.
cel ta sistema, ne?
Look, Kinzel's
Ker fora je,
only
da
used like
Rocket
5
League
builds on
accountov
that
folk ne
whole
bo
rotate,
prodajal,
and he's
ker
making
mora
all
cel
the way into this
Steam
next
account
zone.
in take stvari, ne vem, tako
To
pa
get it
čisto
all the way
drugače,
here,
no.
he managed to make it just on a
V Fortu bi bilo
single
ful več
expansion
tako
to
pol,
build.
že tako
I
so
think
bili
that next zone is
problemi.
pulling far
Pa
based on
skemanje pa vse.
where all these players are moving to at this point. We can't entirely see where it is yet.
Ok, dobro,
They're
naredim,
going
ne
for
vem, lej.
more and more tags as
Imeli
it
so, no,
comes
to vem.
across.
Pač meni bi bilo
Yes,
tudi
we can
fajn, če
see
bi
that
to
next
naredili.
zone pulls to the east. It's not that
Tiki
bad of a
pojma nimam,
rotate
kaj je
for
to.
them if they start potentially to go north. I'm not even sure what the best way to rotate this is at this point because there's so many people to their south, but they may be able to go around them and keep the sight lines hidden if they go a little bit
Ja,
further
Juško, še
to
zmeran.
closer to
Oni
the
imajo
water.
verjetno tudi
There's still
asiste.
so many teams rotating.
Že
that
laki
way.
Scorpion. Jo, jo.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to see from this angle, but it looks like a bad sniper and DKS might even
No
be
logo
in
vprašanja,
zone
si to že imel prej.
right now, seeing where they're positioned and
Scorpion.
how kind of calm they are at the moment. They're not really looking at rotates.
Tako igraš off-stream sa pa kakaj PS. Jo, s off-stream, jaz že tako nimam nič časa, dejansko. Zdaj, ko bo 6 ur streamam pa to, pa ko pa še druge stvari, sploh ni šans. Off-stream nič ne igram.
Yeah, the top 3 teams have all managed to get into zone. Good materials, good mobility to their name. Now, this is coming close to the end of the mid-game. Once we see that 5th zone and everyone's in there, that's going to be the end of the mid-game. But that's one of the most difficult parts. Rotating into the half-in, half-out zone whenever
Sklačil se sliši, ako sem rekel, da Kinzel nima biga. Ja, to se ne sliši čudan. Kako to je čudan?
Because all these people are still on this west side, it's going to be so tough as we see 2 sets
Vem, kaj
trying to
misliš,
pressure
ampak ne.
onto
Ne.
Noah Rayleigh alongside Vadil up above, but being super careful and trying
Ja,
not to do
tu
anything
pa Stormi ne smeta zdaj dobro odigrati. Ja, ne tukaj killa da biti.
Down below here, so if Toos and Stormy manage to pick up eliminations on them, that'll almost guarantee Lois and Tripper in the 4th place.
Oh, they're looking for some tags. They're looking for replays. They're 33 tag from
Ja,
Toos here against
ne
another
sme tu
tag.
stole
Not a
dobiti
big
killov.
one, but it is enough to put them above in Storm Surge. However, they're only 3
Ko mi sam 300 above, to je dobar. Ne, to je Kinzel pa Wakey. Kje so njih najdel? Ne, ne njih.
Be careful
Hello.
there because that is our 2nd place team right now. Kinzel and Wakey, who are getting into a situation that looks quite dangerous, but there it is. Lucia is stuck as a solo now, as his duo has been taken down. 6
Oh,
below.
Kinzel pa
Storm
Wakey.
Surge for Wakey and Kinzel. They have to do
Oh,
damage.
Wakey je
just
dobil
like the
kill
other
sam.
trios close by.
Below srca.
Tagged in return from Vadil and Noah up on the high ground. He did actually manage to get an elimination. I think that was onto either Fire King or Lucia there. So 1 elimination. So if DKS does not manage to get any more eliminations,
minio
now
po,
they're
bro.
actually
Ni minio
ahead.
po, bro.
So this should put Wakey and Kinzel fully into 2nd. DKS should be in 3rd, whereas Stormy right in 2nd.
Oh,
Still solidified up in
ta bo
1st
slaba.
place. That next zone pulls completely east. As we see
Spet far zone za njiju, chat. Oh, Kinzel nima sreće z zonom. Kinzel nima sreće z
This is
zonom.
not looking good at all for Kinzel or Wakey here. They have to pop minis. They have to tank it. Only 2 players have to get eliminated for Storm Surge to cancel. 1 more player has to get eliminated for Storm Surge to go away. Just 1 solo, but the zone is so far. They have to make that rotation.
Shan
DKS
mora
and Bad
umret,
Sniper
model.
are going to have such a good position now since the zone closed close to them. And that 1 player is still alive, Reese. He is not getting eliminated.
Oof.
Wakey and Kinzel are losing so much health. They don't have shield anymore. They're still taking damage. Now only 33 health for Wakey. This is looking like the end.
And it's X-Squeeze who actually goes down. So Storm Surge is now over, but Wakey is left with 25 shield and 33 white HP.
Ajde, če tole klačata sta goda, če to klačata sta goda.
Every single angle here. I'm not sure where Kinzel is either, and may just be Wakey alive as a solo, as it is Noah Rayleigh.
Pa še Noah pa Vadil ga pušata, ne. Ona ga ta zihar do konca pušala.
Wakey down to 39 builds remaining. He's trying to break through these old builds, but nothing is his as the 2 best fighters start to apply the pressure onto the wall, and unfortunately, Wakey goes down on 322 points.
Not much Wakey could have done to just stay alive, but also I can see Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage close by.
Nista zmagala, chat.
Bad Sniper on a good elevation here in the end
Zdaj
game.
samo
And
bomo
I'm
da
curious
ostala
to
ta top
see
3.
Where Toos and his duo is, because they were also having some Storm Surge problems, trying to find Stormy right here, but there they are, 344 points, both of them on 200 HP,
Kaj bo v soboto?
100 shield,
Gledamo,
100 health.
mislim v soboto ne zdaj. Kar so turniri, ne igram nič skozi membri po predspojedan. Kar imamo itak skozi member only chat. Jutro bo member only chat, v soboto bo v nedeljo bo member only chat. V soboto še ne vem kaj bomo. Pač mislim ne, vem, v soboto igramo FNCS, what do you mean?
This is a two-horse race for first right now, Toos and Stormy Ray against DKS Bad Sniper. They have the launch pad. Remember, this zone starts to pull up at the end, so this launch pad may potentially be too early. So they're going to have to make sure they start elevating themselves once they land. But in that bottom left, you can see DKS and Bad Sniper have already landed. They are already in that spot. They're already trying to get that point. Drax,
dejansko ga vidimo v endgameu, what?
Crizzy and David, everyone's starting to launch pad up ahead, but as we see, Bad Sniper and DKS, because they got in there early, they still have tons of materials.
Bad Sniper je zdaj pred K1nzellom, tako da K1nzell je zdaj že tretji.
Looking for Bad Sniper quickly realized that he was unable to pad in that situation, moving out to get a good pad, but he does get blocked off by a brick ramp there, so now he's gonna have to tarp up instantly. He's gonna have to go up this mountain just in case the next moving zone keeps pulling up, but he's trying to group up with his teammate there. They're now grouped up, but look at Toos on the top right of your screen. He's already cracked, has 2 eliminations,
upam da bomo. Pač vem, da smo zmožni kvalata, ne? Že prejšnji teden smo bili zmožni kvalata, pa smo malo čokali na koncu.
20 below as well, trying to just out-heal the Storm Surge, but there's still 5 players remaining that needs to go down. The pressure starting to come out, and he's going to have to apply something to one of the enemy teams as he gets tagged up.
Pa Toos bo umrl.
The Storm Surge keeps ticking. He's trying to out-heal it as much as he can, but those players are not being eliminated. The Storm Surge is still active, and Toos goes down, but Stormy right is well.
356 points for Stormy Right, 327 for Bad Sniper. I'm going to keep an eye out on Stormy right now at the top right, who's below in Storm Surge, trying to get some tags, manages to get some. Not enough for an elimination, but he does get above the Storm Surge threshold here as Bad Sniper. Stormy Right gets an elimination. That's going to give him the Siphon refresh. He's going to get a Chug Cannon as well to heal up this zone. This could be the clutch that gives them the ¡1 spot.
He's down to 38 HP at the same time, 16
dejansko je bil cel nafilan Chug Cannon, god. Jaz pa vedno poberem praznega.
Lobby right now, and as a solo weak is tagged in from the back, he's trying to go, and that's Noah Rayleigh. He's going up against 1 tick to the Storm, and it's over for him, but he has no materials at all, so he slides down, and I think that's it over for Storm now. 372 points is to beat for Bad Sniper.
Ja, Bad Sniper pa ta bota na koncu klačala po moje. Pa bo pa zmagala.
DKS is already down to less than 10 HP.
Bad
Sniper is left alone as a solo. He has to clutch up more than 20 points. It's a 1v2. They're getting to his box, and he gets eliminated. So Bad Sniper is going to finish with 343 points below Stormy Right.
Ja upajmo, da bo ta tretja vsaj chat.
373, if I'm not mistaken, but this game isn't done yet. Acorn and Jack, NA players playing with a ping disadvantage on the high ground, and look at all the chaos on mid ground right now.
All the chaos going down, but Acorn and Jack get dropped down, and that's actually going to down to fall damage. So Acorn is now going to go down to low ground. As you see, Link claiming up on high ground with his
zakaj recimo mi ne gre kdaj v game, pa ker on vaš zdaj se pojma Staši. Bo ima dosti dela folka to problem se mi zdi. Ne vem zakaj.
Wow, this is an insane endgame. Fury right now with 148 points, but they do have the high ground. This could be the victory royale. They need to push themselves up on the leaderboard here. 1 elimination for Fury. Link does not have any eliminations, but they do have a great loadout to battle this out. They're looking for angles, they're looking for tags, they're looking for anything they can get here. Meanwhile, on the low ground, Momo is alive here with 2 knocked down players. Siberia looking for an angle. He doesn't have his materials. Link gets that elimination. Now it's a 1 versus 2, high ground versus low ground. Reese, who is going to take this last game?
Fury and Link applying the pressure. Momo would have a massive clutch to win this, but no.
GG su chat.
And Link in the final game. That's going to put them up to 178 points.
GG su chat.
Look,
da vidimo.
Huge victory round from them.
Da vidimo zdaj na koncu placemente. Da, K1nzell je bil vsaj tretji na koncu, chat. Vsaj tretji je bil K1nzell na koncu. Tudi to je neki. Tudi to je neki. Škoda, res škoda za zadnji 2 igri. Ja, res škoda, da sta imela dva, pač imeli so vse far zone, to je bila malo nesreča. Začela sta super, ampak lej. Top 3 še vedno insane. Še vedno sta dubla 5,4 vsak, kar je insane, chat, insane. Evo si GG so chat, pa stisnite like, ne bi zvali uporabiti kode ScorpLZ v item shopu. Ok, skoraj ni 8 gameov, ne, 6 gameov je. Mislil so, pač, zasrali so, 6 gameov je chat. Zadnja igra je bila tale. Tako da ja.
I'm not mistaken, I think the final scores are in. I think we found out exactly who our winners are.
Ej, chat, Tysonu je šlo zelo slabo, ne vem, 40 nekaj je bil, čak, bom pogledal. Tyson je bil, 42 je bil Tyson. Zelo slabo sta igrala. Bila sta 44, dvakrat zapored, pol 20, pol 28, pol 38, pol 20, zelo slabo. Ne vem kaj sta delala, ampak ja, žal. Žal ima ni šlo. 42 sta bila. Ne vem kaj sta delala, ker ni jih nič kazali, tako da ne vem. Kaj je v petek? Jutr igramo FNCS, chat. Jutr igramo FNCS, trovo stream bo pa verjetno okoli pol 4, ko bomo malo igrali, da se malo ugremo, pa bomo imeli kakšno urco pa pol frej, pa FNCS stream. Stream bo o pol 7, ok? Tako da ja. Skor, kaj če gremo cel Skor Gang of Fitness? Ja, se veš, da je to nemogoče. Ja. Tyson tweet, ajde. Pogledam še Tysonov tweet, pa vas zaključim chat, ok? Pogledam še Tysonov tweet. Ajde vidim. Tyson prav, da je bolan. Tako da, I guess. Mislim, zdaj ne vem, je to excuse ali je res bolan, povem, ker takrat je bil tudi Veno. Kva imajo tam? To se vsi drug od drugega nalazujejo. Ok, ja, dobro, ne, pač. Ne more skozi Tyson dobro igrati, lej, pač, vse je logično, da ne more biti skozi. Nač folk, jaz bom tukaj zdaj končal, ok? Sova, pozdravljen! Seveda se spomnim, prej sem te shoutoutu. Sam nimaš 3-3 v imenu. Piko imaš na konc. Ja, ne vem, abi, ne vem. Koliko najde dobi prvo... Koliko smo rekli, chat? 11 ur, 400, nekaj tazga? Zakaj nikoli ne pokažeš abi? Ej, se je že parkrat, ampak če se noče, se noče. Smo pogledali Tysonov tweet. Pa je bolan. Ok, nač folk, to je to za tale stream. Hvala sem, ker ste gledali. Jutr ima, da ste vsi na streamu ob pol 7. Jutr imamo zelo šanso, da to sezono kvalamo v četrtfinale v FNCS-u, ja? Tako da jutr morate vsi navijati. Sicer bo member only chat, ki igramo turnirje, pa alerti za membre, pa donacije, pa to bojo na potiho. Ampak jutr ima, da ste vsi tle, ok? Jutr se navija na polno. Jutr bom schedule stream enkrat popoldne, tako da to, ok? Imamo jutr to, vsi jutr navijati, pa se vidimo jutr chat, ok? Tako da to je to, stisnite še like, če še niste, pa se vidimo jutr. Ajde, čau, folk, uživite.